The Office of Congressional Ethics found substantial reason to believe that New Jersey Democrat Representative Tom Malinowski failed to disclose stock transactions in accordance with ethics rules and federal law.
The OEC, which investigates allegations of lawmaker wrongdoing and refers them to the House Ethics Committee, said that Malinowski failed to timely report hundreds of stock transactions between January of 2019 and May of 2021. Malinowski acknowledged in an interview with OEC that he had been careless about properly abiding by rules requiring lawmakers to file regular reports about their stock transactions. The OEC noted that Malinowski has been fined $200 for noncompliance with the House rules. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
And once again on Wall Street this hour, stock futures are mixed before the opening bell, with the Dow futures up 39 points and the NASDAQ futures down 39 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
It's official.
Mm-hmm.
We made it to Friday.
Did indeed. It was a heck of a struggle to get here, but we made it.
Yeah.
Arm in arm, we made it together. And this was a crazy week.
Very crazy.
A lot of stuff that went down.
Yeah. Of course, hot in the news this morning, the tragedy happened in northern New Mexico on the set of the movie Rust.
Yep.
Alec Baldwin involved in an accident there.
Where the cinematographer and the director.
Yeah.
Cinematographer was killed instantly. The director is in critical condition as of last night.
From what I've been kind of gathering on the internet about that story, it seems very reminiscent of the movie The Crow, if you remember that back in the 90s? When
Brandon Lee.
That? Yeah. It sounds like, for those that don't know, when you're going to hear the term prop gun a lot here over the next couple days of this story. When they use prop guns on the set, they're actual firearms. They're not prop guns. They're real guns.
These are they're stripped down firearms, and actually
they use blanks and things.
Right, but they have to be like rigged to fire these blank rounds.
From what I understand, is what happened was there was blanks in the bullet. What was done? Apparently, they didn't clean the gun properly before reloading the blank.
Oh,
and the fragments from the previous blank and everything came out, and that's what killed. Because the gun wasn't pointed at the people that ended up getting killed.
As I gathered it, they wanted to get the shot directly like down the barrel of the gun, like the fire of the gun.
Gotcha.
That's what they were going for.
Okay,
and that's
but
what caused the problem.
From what I understand, that's kind of what's the story behind the tragedy there. So it's of course you're going to get on the internet and you're going to hear everybody's opinions and thoughts and everything. But at the end of the day, it's a very sad tragedy.
It really is,
and that's what it is, and an accident all around. And I imagine when all this dust settles, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits and probably some kind of more regulation on how they do that kind of stuff, because I know it's pretty regulated, but accidents happen. But it just sounds like just something that wasn't a careless act, something
Yeah.
that was forgotten to happen.
Yeah, and they last I heard
and
he was
a tragedy happened.
Baldwin was sitting outside of the sheriff's department, basically just tears streaming down his face. Like
I saw pictures online.
It's just a tragedy all around. And obviously no charges have been filed because this is just a freak accident essentially.
No, yeah. So who knows what's going to happen next as far as the movie and all of that stuff.
But I watched.
Just prayers out to everybody involved at this
Absolutely.
point.
I watched this YouTube series, and I'm sure they're going to start. He's going to get a few more hits now. Called Scott Prop and Roll. It's that prop master that I've been telling you about.
Yeah.
And he's actually gone over and talked about how prop guns are used on set and the way that they're safe fire. And this is the reason this breaks protocol. And if anything comes from this in the form of like a lawsuit, I have a feeling it'll be like a civil lawsuit towards the film company, because the way that they are supposed to do prop guns is that before any fire of any kind, blank or otherwise, they fire the gun off one. They're supposed to fire the gun off one time to clear it, to make sure it's completely clear of any fragments, any issues. Then they reload and then they do their shot. But there's always a shot first, then they load and then they do their scene. Yeah. So something in the protocol here was
missed.
Missed.
Yeah. So
steps were missed.
But anyway, that's what I know at this point. So. But we do have a full show today.
And a full green room as well.
Yes, we're going to have some fun this hour. We got the kids from the CAPS program, the Kids Arts program. They're going to be joining us here in studio. They got a big day tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow is their Living Museum event that's going to be happening at the Historical Society. They're in the museum and the archives facility there on Lee Street.
It's like a day at the museum.
It's all day, 10 to 4. Now, they're asking folks to get tickets for this. You're not going to be there from 10 to 4. You kind of get a ticket, you come in at your scheduled time, and you get to participate in the Living Museum events, the different activities. There's make and take projects. There's going to be living reenactments, things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. They do their Graveside Manor out at South Park Cemetery every year. Think of this a little like that, except for it's not at the cemetery, right. And now we get to spotlight some other Roswell folks that don't call South Park Cemetery home as part of this. So, but yeah, they're going to come in here in just a few and join us and chit chat all about tomorrow and what they're going to be doing. And of course, love to have everyone coming out. You can still get tickets online at their website, roswelltheater.com. But if you forget to get tickets and come out tomorrow, anytime between 10 and 4, they'll work to get you in. But be aware you might have to wait a little bit for appointment times and things like that. But we'll talk all about that with the CAPS folks here in just a few.
I'm gonna be that annoying guy that shows up in all the historical, reenactors or whatever. This is a Walkman. We play cassettes through this. Put these on. Hear that? Magic sounds coming out of the box. And just pull out a lighter out of my pocket. See? Look at this.
You're from the future.
Magic. Follow me and I can show you more magic things. Wait till you discover the internet.
I feel like this is Encino Man, where they get him out of the hole.
That's exactly what I was going for. Yep.
So we're gonna talk Living Museum with CAPS Kids this hour. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have Chaves County Manager Bill Williams join us. Yesterday, the Chaves County Commission met, and Bill will give us all the rundown, the skinny about what happened there at the meeting yesterday. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to have candidate for governor, Republican candidate, looking for your vote in the upcoming primary. Greg Zanetti going to be joining us in studio this morning, and we'll chit-chat with Greg here and talk a little bit about his gubernatorial race this morning.
Gubernatorial.
I just like saying that word.
No, it's just fun because, governor, there's no B to be found, but it's always the gubernatorial race. Sponsored by Goobers. Girls go for guys who go for great gubernatorial race.
I go for guys who go for great tasting gubernatorial races.
There you go.
People are like, what's he talking about? It's a Goobers thing.
It's a Goobers reference.
You don't understand.
You're not cool.
You're lucky you're not president. There'd be Goobers in every home.
Right. A goober in every pocket.
That's right. A goober in every pot.
Every peanut chocolate covered. Oh, they don't point. I'm sorry. Every peanut chocolate covered.
It's this thing. Like you have a pen, but no pen. You know what? Go back and watch the movie Dave if you haven't seen that movie. I love that movie. Remember the movie Dave?
Yeah, that is a weird movie.
There's a lot of good presidential riffs, and to be honest, every time that movie still, if it's like scrolling channels and it's on one of the bazillion channels, I'll stop and watch Dave. I love that movie, Dave.
Dave is a good one. Dave's a good one. What's the other one? Came out like right around the same time too.
Is Dave?
Yeah.
With Kevin
No.
Kline?
It was
But it was a presidential
the one I
one?
confused. Dick. That's the one I confused. It's the one about Richard Nixon.
Oh, yeah. That's
I was. It's a completely different movie. I was confused those two.
Yeah, one's a comedy. The other is a very... I think the other one's...
Well, an intentional comedy.
Well, no, it's... what's his name? The same guy did JFK and all that.
Stone.
Yeah, Oliver Stone. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's one of his things, which is all over the map. But I'm weirdly entertained by his movies, even though you got to pay attention because it's back and forth and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, are we back? Are we ahead of time or back time?
I think it's like the actors feel the pressure. It's like, oh, we're on an Ollie Stone flick, so we better step it up.
Yeah,
we're gonna step up our reenactment game.
Yeah, he's out there, man. That guy. Anyway, 7:14. Let's go ahead and you know what I haven't done before we do weather?
What's that?
It's McDonald's Friday.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Said one thing about how awesome McDonald's is. Big thank you to McDonald's. Thank you guys for supplying delicious breakfast treats each and every Friday. And if you are hungry, stop by any of your McDonald's here in town. They've got you covered. Don't forget, they are hiring as well. Log on to their website, mchire.com, and learn about career opportunities with McDonald's. And get in there and get you a McDonald's. Every once in a while, I get the craving. And I always go old school. Like they always have new stuff, and I like the new stuff. But every once in a while, I'm like, no, just give me a Big Mac. Nope.
Yeah.
Chicken nugget. That's all I want.
That's all you need.
Egg McMuffin. By the way, green chili. Go ask for it on your Egg McMuffin this morning, and it's going to change your world.
It really will.
It will.
Green chili changes everything. It makes everything better.
It's just like something you've been doing your whole life, and then you do it something slightly different. You're like, why have I been doing it this way before?
Yeah. I've lived in New Mexico for the better part of my entire life, and I've never tried green chili on biscuits and gravy. Who knew? Yeah.
Now you do it, and you're like, of course it's good. Yeah. So thank you to McDonald's. Swing on by. They got you covered. 7:16. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks fair for the weekend with high pressure over eastern New Mexico and fairly comfortable temperatures. We'll be in the mid-80s and sunny today and a little bit breezy by afternoon. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid-50s, and then we're in the upper 80s and a sunny day coming up for us tomorrow. Clear and down to 50 on Saturday night and then back to the low 80s, and it stays fair on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 53 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 41%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 3 miles per hour. Another beautiful, nice day. More boring, nice weather. Nothing to complain about. Sunny skies, a high of 86 today. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 55 degrees. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking at the weekend for you, Saturday, sunny skies. Expect a high of 86. South winds 5 to 10 in the morning. Picking up 15 to 20 for tomorrow afternoon. Saturday night, tomorrow night mostly clear. Overnight low 52. Sunday, another nice day. Sunny skies with a high of 84. And then more 80s. Actually, we might see 90 on Monday. It says sunny 89 on Monday. That might get 90. Then again, it may drop. I don't know. It's New Mexico. You never, nothing to be surprised about. But by Thursday, we're back in the the upper 70s. So it looks like Monday's kind of an anomaly as a warm pushing 90. Then we'll be back down to low 80s and breezy by Tuesday. All right, it is 7:17. Let's go ahead and take a 3-minute commercial break. And then on the other side of the break, we'll have the kids from the CAPS program talking all about the Living Museum happening tomorrow at the Historical Society. That's on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
There's nothing like a good night's sleep. But if your old, worn-out mattress is keeping you up at night, then hurry to Glenn's Furniture and change your life. Glenn's carries Serta, the finest mattress in the world. Whether you prefer a traditional inner spring, a modern memory foam, or a hybrid that combines the best of both, Glenn's has the right size and right firmness in stock, specially priced and ready for free delivery. So don't lay awake another night. Head for Glenn's Furniture at the corner of Union and Alameda, making sweet dreams since 1953.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell. Roswell Skin Center, a brand new state-of-the-art facility located in the 400 Penn Plaza building here in Roswell, is now accepting new patients. Dr. Brandon Cometti and his team offer a full range of skin care services, including general dermatology, surgical and cosmetic procedures, including cutting-edge laser rejuvenation, Botox, filler, laser hair removal, chemical peels, and other non-invasive options to improve skin health and turn back the hands of time. Call and schedule your appointment at Roswell Skin Center today, 208-2509. That's 208-2509.
Spending money we don't have has become the American way of life. Oftentimes we get sucked into the rush of buying the next big thing, only to be left with a stack of insurmountable debt. Did you know that 63% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $500 emergency? What else is interesting is self-storage units are now a $12 billion industry that barely existed 40 years ago. It seems that most everyone is looking for the newest phone, the cable provider with the most channels, and the television with the biggest screen. Needless to say, times have changed. Why are we so intent on keeping up with the Joneses? What does the Bible have to say about being a good steward? It's time we gain some perspective and learn to be content in any and every situation. Please join us as we try to do that at Country Club Road.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
The biggest sale in the history of southeastern New Mexico is back at Roswell Nissan, King of Cars. With every vehicle on the lot slashed to liquidation pricing, like a 2020 Versa slashed to under 18 grand, a 2014 Jeep Patriot slashed to under 13 grand, and a 2015 Sentra slashed to under 9 grand. Get free AirPods just for stopping by and enter to win one of 3 LED smart TVs, including a 58-inch 4K Ultra High-Def Smart TV to be given away October 23rd at 1 p.m. sharp. King of Cars. On now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. During your lifetime, you'll produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. Spit out this bit of information at your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, we have the CAPS, the Kids Arts Program, joining us. Of course, Angel Strange is back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
And, of course, we have some of our participants in tomorrow's event. We have Alex and Josiah, and we also have Nadeline as well. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
And gentlemen.
Good morning.
And gentlemen, how you doing today? I can't see. All I see is a hat over my computer screen here. So, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. Are you excited about tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long have you been working on this and getting ready for it?
Weeks.
Weeks now? Good deal. I know we've been planning it for since summer. I think we've been kind of talking about this thing, and so rather than me just talk the whole time, I'm gonna. I don't know. Do you want to start, Angie? You want to let the kids explain what's happening tomorrow, or would you like to or do you want Josiah? You want to take this one? Tell us what we're doing tomorrow.
Nope. What? Well, the kids that are here with me today, plus some others, are going to be reenacting people from Roswell's history.
Yeah.
And telling their stories. And so we have some of their stories here today, and they're going to give you just a little taste of it.
Okay, a tint. So you guys, all 3 of you are going to be portraying historical figures that help shape what we know Roswell as today, all right?
Yep.
All right. So, we'll start with Josiah here. Who are you portraying tomorrow at the Living History event?
I'm portraying Elvis Fleming.
Elvis Fleming. Now, I know a little bit about Elvis because I'm with the Historical Society, but I don't know if a lot of people in town are familiar with the contributions Elvis has made. So I'm going to guess, I don't want, obviously we don't want to put the whole show out here because we want to, give them something to come back for. But give folks a little bit of background about Mr. Fleming.
Well, he played the guitar, and I'm actually gonna play the guitar for the event.
All right.
A song he wrote. Everybody called him Mac. It's about his grandpa.
Really, I didn't know he was a musician. I knew him for his historicals, his books and all that. But he's a musician. So you're a guitarist too, huh, Josiah?
Yeah.
So did you, now I'm curious, how long have you been playing guitar, Josiah? Because I know you guys are pretty musical and busy.
Maybe a little over a year.
Okay.
Right?
I think that's right.
About a year now? And you're already making songs and recording? Man, I have no musical skills. You give me a year with a guitar, you know what I learned? That I don't know how to play guitar. That's what I learned. Cool. So you're going to be doing music and singing one of Elvis's songs? Not Presley, Fleming. I just realized when I said that, I was like, people like me, they're looking for Heartbreak Hotel all of a sudden. No. Different Elvis. But and here's an added bonus, and you can tell them this, Josiah. But after you learn about Elvis Fleming, he's an author of many books about our local history. You can pick them up there at the Historical Society while you're there. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for some Christmas gifts and things like that. So, all right. Who are you portraying at the event tomorrow?
I'm playing Amelia Bolton Church.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit about Amelia.
Well, her mother was actually born in Ireland.
Okay.
And she grew up where the tower it was crumbling down, and she grew up in with it. It was in the center of town. She helped found the Gardeners Club.
Okay.
One of her gardens became the Gardeners Club, and she worked with the Chavez County Historical and Archaeological Society a lot.
Okay. So some of the garden club, things like that. Yeah, it's it's kind of funny. You always wonder about stuff like that, and this is where you're going to learn some of that. Is some of the events, things, people that we have in this town. You're like, oh no, how that got started. And come on out Saturday, you will find out a nugget or two here. So, all right, fine. Who are you portraying tomorrow at the event?
I am going to be Henriette Wyeth.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about Wyeth.
Well, she was the wife of Peter Hurd.
Okay. Famous artist.
And she was born in Pennsylvania and the daughter of N.C. Wyeth, who was a famous illustrator at the time.
Okay. Now, did she have art in her blood too?
I believe that she did. She found her own painting style whenever she moved to New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Her husband didn't steal it, did he? Claim it for his own. I hate when they do that. So I'm asking, did you guys know much about these three people before you started researching and doing everything?
Not really.
No, it was all. I mean, did you even heard? I bet Josiah heard of his character.
Yeah.
He spends a lot of time.
I just missed actually getting to meet him.
Yes, he was an awesome man, Josiah. I got to meet him a few times, and yeah, you're absolutely correct. He's an awesome man here. But so. Once you kind of started learning about these, what was your thoughts as you're going through this? Kind of going from not knowing a thing about this person to kind of learning something about their history, and what was some of your thoughts and reactions when you were kind of doing your research on these people?
It was crazy because I've never heard of her before, and
Sure.
she did a lot.
Yeah, don't you? It's sometimes you don't realize that, do you? It's like some people. I mean, we know famous people in history and the things they did. Everybody knows George Washington and all. But you think about it, there's been so many people on this earth before us doing so many great things. Mm-hmm. And how much of that is known and recorded in history through time and things. And sometimes it's there and we just don't know about it because it's not, put in your face all the time, and it's hidden in books and things in library shelves somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious, do you guys get when you start learning about these people, does it kind of make you want to kind of go look up and learn more about other people when you do this? Because you're thinking because I imagine as you're researching and reading about these people, you're coming across other people that they came across.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, I wonder where that person came from and what they're doing. So did you guys get a chance to kind of experience some of that when you were preparing for this?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, are you guys? I know Josiah's a history buff. What about you? But you ladies, are you fans of history and things like this, or just something you're kind of picking up as you're doing this stuff?
It really depends on what type of history that I'm learning, but yeah, I like history.
Well, I hate to tell you, but do you like watching TV shows?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like watching Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
You like history because that's all. Everything, that's all history. It's us, people. We're all history. You know, people, what you did at school and what you're doing in right now. You know, that's kind of history. It's the history of you. And so I think we're all into history. We just don't realize it sometimes. So cool. So all right, let me ask each of you your most favorite thing you learned about your character. Now, don't, if it's teasing tomorrow or spoiling tomorrow, don't tell me. But is there any information, facts, or tidbits about the person you're portraying that you found really neat or interesting or fun?
Well, I found out how much she contributed to art in Roswell.
Okay.
Because everybody knows about her husband, but nobody really knows about her.
Yeah, he got all the fame. Peter Hurd, everyone's, you know, and she's the one probably making everything happen behind the scenes, right? Yeah. Making him look good. How about you? What was something that you found real fun or interesting that you learned?
Her greenhouse is actually the House of Flowers.
Oh,
which
really?
I think,
Which is currently the place House of Flowers.
Yes.
It's like, I know all greenhouses are houses of flowers. No, the House of Flowers. And it's still, so it kind of morphed into, still a place for plants and flowers and things. That's pretty cool. And then you wonder, what if she wasn't here doing that? Would it be a House of Flowers today? Maybe it's a KFC. Who knows? All right, Josiah, what was something that you found interesting now that you didn't know about Elvis before? I'm going to put a caveat on you because you probably had a little history going into yours. So before, just in this project, was there any factoids or things that you learned about Elvis that you were kind of surprised about or found fun?
Can't really think of anything.
You see, he knew everything. That's probably, he wasn't surprised by none of it. See, I learned the fact that you told me that he was a songwriter and wrote songs. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that side of him. I thought of him just as the author and the lover of history and all that side. So that was surprising for me, but you probably knew that already, didn't
Well, I know one thing that he almost actually became a famous musician, but he wasn't quite able to.
Yeah, that happens to a lot of people, I think, with the music. They just get right there But then again, you know what? That may have been a blessing in disguise. Because if he became a famous musician, I'm sure he wouldn't have time to write all them books.
And that's how we found out about most of these people, was going through his books.
Going through
picking
his
our
books.
characters.
He was kind of the one leading everybody. Now the event tomorrow, you can it's from 10 to 4. It's going to be happening there at the Historical Society property. You guys are going to be in the actual J.P. White house in the museum in different rooms there, but at the archives facility next door, it's all right there on the same property. They're going to be making take crafts. There's going to be the whole property. There's going to be things happening as part of the Living Museum event there. It's going to be happening from 10 to 4. You don't have to be there from 10 to 4 all day. I mean, you're certainly more than welcome to, but you don't have to be. You could probably plan on about an hour and a half of total.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Total activity time here. But we really would like you to get advance tickets for it. It's tomorrow, but if you get online today, if you go to the for folks that don't know, the CAPS program is part of the Roswell Community Little Theater. It's part of that. So you can get tickets at the Community Little Theater's website, which is roswelltheater.com. You can go there and make sure you spell theater like live theater, THEATRE, not like the eater. Do you ever know that? Do you ever notice that if you spell the movie theater like a movie theater, if you break it down, it's the eater. That's how I remember how to spell theater. If you break it down to 2 words, the eater, it's theater. But don't do it this way because it won't help you. But definitely now, if you space out and forget to get tickets today, come on out tomorrow anytime between 10 and 4, probably closer to the 10 than the 4. But come on out, and you might have to wait a few minutes as the people with set times and things go through, and then we can work you in and all that. But if you have a small window or if you like a lot of people, there's about 70 things going on tomorrow, and you want to make sure you kind of hit them all. Get you your ticket. That way you can and you can designate your time online there of what works best for you and all that good stuff. It's very affordable. It's like $10 or something.
It's actually $5.
$5. I was, but it's a fundraising event for the CAPS program as well as the Historical Society. So if you'd like to make a donation or help out while you're there, that would be awesome. But talk about some of the like we're going to be doing the talks and things, but talk a little bit about some of the crafts. We also got to talk about the raffle too. We haven't even got a chance to get into that part of it yet. So
yes, so in the archives building, there'll be an activity for each of the characters.
Okay.
So you'll get to go through, and the kids will have a stamp card that they can go through and mark off doing all the activities, and then there's a prize at the end.
Okay. Very cool. So there's lots of activities, and then we have the raffle. Yes. Which there's a story behind this, and you know what? Do you know the story, Josiah?
For the raffle?
Yeah.
The safety deposit boxes.
Yes. Can you tell me about the safety deposit boxes?
It was what was the name of the bank?
I can't remember.
It was a bank that's no longer with us.
There was a bank that closed down. And all the safety deposit boxes got sent to Washington.
Yes, it was closed down during the Depression era.
And they actually sent out the boxes and gave them back to people. What, like 20-something years later, or
60 years?
60 years later. So this is your opportunity to, see what's in the box.
Yeah, people had no idea what was in there.
So these aren't the originals, but they'll have a really fun mix of old and new things.
Yeah, absolutely. And unlike the kids are going to not know what I'm talking about here, but unlike the Geraldo Rivera reveal of Al Capone's vault back in the 80s or 90s, you're guaranteed to find something in each one of these.
Yes.
You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. But
I think I know what that is.
Yeah, do you know who Geraldo Rivera is?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's on the news now. He does talk shows, but back in the 80s, he was like a talk show host on during the day when you guys would be at school, and they did a lot of stuff on there. But he did a primetime special on primetime TV on the news where they found. Do you know who Al Capone is?
Nope.
He was a famous gangster back in the 40s and all that in Chicago. But anyway, they found an old vault of his buried in some building there in Chicago, and they were going to open the vault live on TV and see what crazy treasures lie inside of this. And so they do a whole big special, and they hype it all up, and we're sitting there for hours on the edge of our seat wondering what's in this thing. They open it up, and there's like nothing. And there's like some paperwork that meant nothing. It was 4 hours or 3 hour special, and it was a big dud at the end. And so we joked about it for many years. So, but the joke ran dry because you guys are too young to remember. But it was funny 20 years ago, trust me. Again, the event is happening tomorrow. Get tickets today, please. Go to roswelltheater.com, get the tickets. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I bring your whole family out. The kids are going to love this. This is something for everybody, for young kids, older kids, kids at heart, adults. Come on down and bring the family. Come out and be a part of this event. Family fun event. You come out, learn some history about some of our forgotten and more and lesser known people of the Roswell history here, and have fun. What's I gotta ask you guys, because the CAPS program, you guys do a lot of work with theater and stuff. What's your favorite part of the CAPS program? What's the part that you guys love doing the most?
My favorite part would have to be not like the actual acting part. Like I love acting.
Sure.
But it's like behind the scenes whenever we're acting. It's super fun.
Learning how to act, kind of the like you mean like learning the techniques and things to help you remember stuff or help you emote or laugh or those kind of things. So okay. How about for you? What's your favorite part of all the CAPS stuff you're doing?
I would have to say around the same thing. I feel like practicing with other people and like memorizing lines with other people and playing games is like really fun.
So the camaraderie of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, Josiah, what's your favorite aspect of everything you do in CAPS?
Well, I do like the acting itself, but sometimes that, like with what we're doing right now, it's just me having a line. There's no interaction between different characters.
Okay.
And that's one thing I do like about theater, is that it's a bunch of characters making one.
So you want to do some acting with other people with you on stage. You don't want to be up there by yourself running the show. You want to exchange and interact with some of your castmates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it. Got it. Of course, for folks, if Angela, give a plug here for the CAPS program. For if there's children interested and families interested in being more involved, what's the requirements and how do they get involved?
Yes, so it's third grade all the way up through high school.
Okay.
And there's 2 semesters, and usually about end of August or so, we start the fall semester, and then the spring semester starts the mid-January or so. And you just go to the roswelltheater.com to register.
Okay.
And there'll be a tab on there. And for fall, you learn different specific skills, miming or clowning or projecting your voice or things that go on backstage.
Hear that, kids? You can learn to be a clown.
Already did. Right.
People pay thousands of dollars for that.
Then in the spring, we do a full play with the kids.
Good deal. Now, do you guys love, like, before you became a part of this, were you always into theater and always wanting to that, or is this something that you kind of, once you joined, you were like, oh yeah, this is cool, or did you go in wanting to do it?
Yeah, I remember back in like early elementary school, about kindergarten, first graders. So I did a small school play.
Okay.
And that's whenever I really started to like it. And then as soon as I was old enough to do theater here, which was in, of course, third grade, I started doing it, and I really loved it.
Cool. What about for you? Or is this? Would you have it going in, or did you pick it up since you've been part of it?
I really think when I first started, I think I was in 5th grade, almost 6th. I really enjoyed it because I saw like all the other people, and I knew people who are in theater, and they had like a lot of fun. And then when I started, I just kind of picked it up.
You saw your friends doing, you're like, hey, that looks kind of cool. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, for you, Josiah, you've always, it's kind of been your thing the whole time, but. For you, what's the part that kind of got you into it?
Well, I started doing a little bit of acting at church.
Okay.
We did some for like PRM and Christmas. We do a little skit sometimes.
Okay.
But I wasn't really into it that much when we did that. I kind of enjoyed it, but it was, at one point I wanted to just try out actually acting in a theater, so we tried out the CAPS, and that's when I really started to enjoy it.
Gotcha. So you kind of got a little bit, and you're like, no, I want something meatier. I want something I can sink my teeth into. Okay. All right. Very cool. So I got to ask all three of you, what if I know you got lots of time on this, but if someone picked you to say, hey, what do you want to be when you're an adult and you're on your own, and what's for you guys, what's your dream job right now? What would be the coolest thing for you to do as an adult when you're on your own?
I have about 2 dream jobs.
Okay.
One of them, which has been kind of a dream since I was really little, would be a digital artist.
Okay.
And the second one would be a child psychologist.
Okay.
Like, people really expect kids that are in theater to want to become like an actor whenever they grow up, but a lot of the times it's just a hobby.
I got you. That makes sense, because what better way to study and understand people than pretend to be other people?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Makes sense to me. That's great. For you, what's your dream job? Anything in the world. I don't care if it's I want to run Willy Wonka's factory. I don't care what it is.
I'd have to say like a painter, like professionally in art, because I'm always drawing or doodling on something.
Okay.
And she knows. And just like getting to paint art for other people, or getting like to paint people's dreams if they can't paint, or getting even to like paint portraits of people, because I've seen people paint portraits of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're like really happy about it, to see yourself as art. I find that
You know what you need to do? And maybe you can do this Saturday. When you're walking around, you know who Amy McVeigh-Tejas is out there at the historical site? She's the one that runs the historicals. She'll see her run around like a crazy person on Saturday. You'll probably see her run around there. Well, if you get the chance to stop her and ask her, we have relationships with the Hurd family, and I think you know who the Hurd family is, and some of their paintings and things. But some of the family sons, they all painters too. I think you would be great to talk to her and see if you could meet and talk to some of those because they do the same kind of deal like the other. They use their own style of paint. They use like egg wash. They've got a whole science to their art. And I think you would really be into that and kind of would love to. I'm sure he would love to, have you pick his brain and all that. Because I think you should talk to her about that. I think you'd really enjoy that. So, all right, Josiah, what are you going to do? Astronaut, all the above? I think he just has a checklist of 20 things.
Really, I would like to be a musician, actually.
Okay. What kind of music would you like to?
I don't know. I like country, rock and roll.
Okay.
I like blues.
Now, do you want to sing? Do you want to be like a guitarist? All the above?
Both. I want to sing and do guitar.
Do you want to songwrite too?
If I can.
All right. You got to have some. You got to go through some stuff first to be a real good songwriter. Like you might have to go on an adventure. Like when you get older, when you're an adult, before you start, you got to then you got to go learn stuff so you can sing songs about love and dogs under porches and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All you really have to do to be a country musician is just get dumped a bunch.
There you go. There you go. And then you got material for 20 years. Very good. But folks, again, don't forget, tomorrow is the big event. It's the Living Museum, past and present, 10 to 4 tomorrow at the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, 200 North Lee. It's the J.P. White House, which is actually on the corner of Lee and Main Street there. Lee and 2nd, I'm sorry. Lee and 2nd Street right there. And then right next door is the Archives facility. Normally you would park in the middle there, but that's going to be kind of busy with all the programs. There's going to be plenty parking right across the street there. Literally right across the street from the Historical Society, behind the, I think it's an Allsups right there. You can just park right there and come on out and have some fun with us here. Is there any information that I missed that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
Well, the safety deposit box raffle, you can actually purchase your tickets for that in advance if you want.
Okay.
If you go on to the RoswellTheater.com and hit the Living History tab, there'll be a place where you can get raffle tickets. So if you can't make it out on the day and you want to get involved in that, you can. I'll pull all the names Saturday night and get them all situated, and you'll know on Sunday. Okay,
very good. But while you're out, come on out and get you some tickets and things while you're there. But if you, like you say, if you can't make it or you want to stuff the ballot box, get some advance tickets and then buy some more when you're there on Saturday tomorrow there. But again, it's all happening tomorrow. Again, get tickets online to pre-register at roswelltheater.com. But don't worry if you forget tomorrow morning that you didn't come on out. We'll get you put in there. We'll get you to go through. Well, good deal, well, guys. Anybody want to say hi to? Moms, dads, boyfriends, girlfriends? Anybody? Nobody?
I don't think I know anybody who listens to the radio.
They're all in the room here with you. Okay.
Anybody that is listening that I know, hi.
Very good. Any teachers? Anybody need to score brownie points with today?
Anybody I know, hi.
Any specific teacher that could be listening.
There you go. Any specific, non-specific, disclosed teacher. It's not like that. Very, very, very Switzerland there. Josiah, anybody want to say hi to?
I guess Corbin and my grandpa.
All right. Very good. Hey, you guys, I know this is not related, but I know you were in the Communal Theater's talent show. You got another act for this year?
For this year, we're doing the what was it called? We were supposed to work a lot on the accents.
Okay.
But we're doing kind of just a variety show.
Okay. Are you doing like a duet with your brother?
No.
For Santa's Talent.
Oh, Santa's Talent.
Yeah, the Santa's Talent show. I'm sorry.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to play Old Time Rock and Roll with me and Corbin together.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Nice.
And I might play like another Christmas song or something. But...
All right. Hey, two. There's two people, two songs. That's the rule. Guys, thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow. Have some fun. And we'll see you out there, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And I guess you all better get to school before I get you in trouble here. So, very good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time, okay? Come on back. All right? Next time you got stuff, come on back, okay? All right, it is 7:48. Let's go ahead and pause for news and your town hall business update, Chaves County sports update as well. And we got to pay some bills. Quick commercial break because I like lunch, and that's how I get it. So quick break, and we'll be back. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Sorello. $20 million in grants will be distributed through the New Mexico Fire Protection Grant Fund, and several Chaves and Eddy County departments will benefit. Chaves County will get $434,000 of that money going to Berindo Fire for new breathing equipment and Dexter Fire for a new water tanker truck. Moreover, the Happy Valley Fire Department in Eddy County will get $400,000 for a facility improvement. Loving will get $89,000 for a new fill station, and Queen will get $300,000 for a new fire truck. Xcel Energy is investing $1.1 million in electric distribution upgrades in central Artesia to serve additional growth in power needs and a speed restoration in the event of outages, improvements that will sustain economic growth for many years. The upgrades involve replacing wire on more than 2 miles of existing lines with a higher gauge wire that enables the lines to move more electricity. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Donald Trump is permanently barred from Twitter and from Facebook until at least January of 2023. And now he's launching his own media company. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. Post a job for free and find qualified candidates quickly at linkedin.com/Kim. It's called Trump Media and Technology Group, and it's launching a social media platform called Truth Social and setting its sights to take on the big tech companies that shut him out. He's doing this by merging his new company with an old defunct yet publicly traded company called Digital World Acquisitions. The process is called a Special Purpose Acquisition Company, or a SPAC. It's not an uncommon process that allows a SPAC, Trump's new company, to be instantly traded on the NASDAQ. On Wednesday, the share price was $12.75. By yesterday, based on the news of Trump's acquisition, the stock was at $46 a share for a total valuation of a whopping $1.7 billion. Trump just fired big tech. We'll keep you updated on this news at commando.com. Going online without ExpressVPN is like using your smartphone without a protective case. Most of the time, you're fine, but all it takes is one drop to make you wish you had protected it yourself. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network, your online data is not secured. A hacker on the same network can steal your personal data. It doesn't take much technical knowledge to hack someone. A smart 12-year-old could do it. And your data is valuable. Hackers can make thousands per person selling personal info on the dark web. ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, so your data can't be stolen. And it's so easy to use. Fire up the app, click one button, and you're protected. It works on all devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and more. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim, and you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/Kim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks fair for the weekend with high pressure over eastern New Mexico and fairly comfortable temperatures. We'll be in the mid-80s and sunny today and a little bit breezy by afternoon. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid-50s, and then we're in the upper 80s and a sunny day coming up for us tomorrow. Clear and down to 50 on Saturday night and then back to the low 80s, and it stays fair on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The football slate of games started early last night. We needed to spread those officials out a little bit more, and I heard that's the reason. Roswell took on Alamogordo, and it was no problem for the Coyotes, whipping up on the Tigers 48-17. Roswell's now 2-0 in district. It was 28-7 at the end of the first quarter. Game over. Goddard playing at Artesia tonight. This will be a big one. Goddard beat Alamogordo last week, 1-0 in district. Artesia narrowly lost to Roswell. Meanwhile, tonight you've also got NMMI at home against Hope Christian from Albuquerque. This should be a good one. Hope last week beat Dexter 17-15. Dexter will be at Tucumcari tonight. Hagerman, after suffering a tough overtime loss to Eunice last week, at home against Jowl. 6-man playoffs. Gateway Christian at home against Elida. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander. Airlines are planning for a big December, believing that the recent surge in a highly contagious COVID-19 variant is fading and that holiday travel will soar. The carriers say that even after encouraging thousands of employees to quit during the height of the pandemic, they will be able to handle the holiday load. Restaurants, movie theaters, and many retail stores in Moscow will be closed for 11 days starting October 28th, along with other new restrictions, as Russia recorded the highest numbers of coronavirus infections and deaths since the pandemic began. The government coronavirus task force reported over 36,000 new infections and over 1,000 deaths in the past 24 hours. On Wall Street, the Dow down 6 points, closing at 35,603. The Nasdaq ahead 94 to 15,215, and the S&P 500 ahead 13 points to 4,549. With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Christmas came early at Richland Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. A huge inventory has finally arrived at the dealership. Every type of Ram truck you've been waiting for. 2500s, 3500s, even some 4500s. Been looking for a new Dodge Charger or Challenger? They've got them at Richland. And don't go far looking for a new Jeep, Wranglers, Cherokees, Gladiators, even some work vans. It's like Christmas came early. But hurry, these will go fast. Richland on Southeast Main in Roswell.
Welcome to the Asian market. This is Nok. Right now we have a new ingredient like galanga, lemongrass, lime leaf, and Thai chili to make tom yam goong and tom kha gai. And try out new delicious new soup on Saturday. Come see me at the Asian Market, 5702 South Main. Call for order 840-5309.
Otto von Bismarck is said to have quipped, "Laws are like sausages. It's better not to see them being made." While that's a great line, we respectfully disagree. We're New Mexico Foundation for Open Government, a nonpartisan, not-for-profit organization that exists to promote transparency in government, so you not only know what's happening, but why, and by whom. Because what you don't know can hurt you. Visit nmfog.org and become a member today. Sponsored by New Mexico Broadcasters Association.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The average person spends 6 months of their lifetime waiting for a red light to turn green. Share this information with a police officer that pulls you over the next time you run a red light. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:56. Stay tuned next hour, about 8:15 or so. We're going to have Chaves County Manager Bill Williams join us. Yesterday, the Chaves County Commission met. He'll give us the recap highlights of everything that happened at the meeting yesterday and, of course, other things happening around the county as well. Don't forget football tonight. Roswell Coyotes got the victory last night, which you may have heard right here on 106.5 or watched online at ksvptv.com. Goddard Rockets and Artesia Bulldogs square off tonight. That game will be available on multiple platforms and multiple perspectives. If you, as most of you here on listening to this broadcast, Goddard Rocket fans, you will want to check out the game on the radio at 106.1 FM Fiero or the Goddard Rocket channel on ksvptv.com to watch the video. The Bulldog perspective will be available on the radio at 990 AM KSVP in Artesia or 93.7 FM, the translator there in Artesia, or again at ksvptv.com there in the Artesia Bulldog channel. You'll have the Joby version of the Artesia side there, and then Scott Galletti will be calling the Goddard perspective. That game in the Wool Bowl tonight, by the way. So we'll have that game for you. So really we have one game, but in two different perspectives for you tonight on our stations there. Also, don't forget
Hey, come on out. It's homecoming for NMMI tomorrow. They're going to be playing in the Wool Bowl tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be PA announcing that one. I'll be there in some shape or form, but I think I'm doing the PA announcing. So come on out for that, for homecoming. There's something else I was going to say, too, and I just completely blanked on it. I don't remember what it was now. My apologies. It'll come to me probably during the news here. It's usually how it works. But, lots of stuff. Of course, other events as well going on. Walk to End Alzheimer's is tomorrow morning. You can still be a part and donate there. Come on out. Everything. They're going to be out at Cielo Grande tomorrow morning, 8:30 for registration, and until about 9. I think 9:30 they're going to start the ceremony, and then the walk will begin about 10 tomorrow out there at Cielo Grande. But still got time to get involved with that as well. There's just so much going on here over the next couple weeks with Halloween. Lots of trunk or treats, things like that. A lot of different things to get involved with. If you have any questions about the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and you want to call someone to get some more information, Paul Moore, event manager, probably your best resource, 505-317-0978. But again, that's happening out there tomorrow. Also, don't forget, in the 9 o'clock hour today, about 9:15, we're going to have Republican gubernatorial candidate Greg Zanetti join us in studio, and we'll chit-chat with him. I talked to him once, I believe it was on the phone, I think, a couple months ago. So this will be the first time I get to talk to him face-to-face. Look forward to that. So that's coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Town Hall News coming up next. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. China's message to President Biden is, in effect, mind your own business.
In response to President Biden's comments on Taiwan, China has said there is no room for compromise on the subject. President Biden had commented that the U.S. will defend Taiwan if attacked by China. China's response was unwavering, as Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Weibin said no concessions will be given over the issue. He reasserted China's long-standing claim that the island is its territory. Wang went on to say that the Taiwan issue was an internal affair of China that allows no foreign intervention. I'm Karen Chamas.
The president's approval rating just 38%. In a poll from Quinnipiac University, half of those surveyed think the president is dishonest. 55% believe that he's unable to govern. Despite the dismal numbers, the president will stump again for the Democratic candidate in the razor-close Virginia governor's race.
Earlier this month, Democrat Terry McAuliffe said Joe Biden is unpopular in Virginia, but that's not stopping him from inviting the president to join him on the campaign trail again next week. McAuliffe is locked in a dead heat with Republican candidate Glenn Youngkin, and Democrats are worried about losing. McAuliffe's campaign says the president will join McAuliffe on Tuesday in Virginia's D.C. suburbs, a week before Election Day. Greg Clugston, the White House.
A tragedy involving actor Alec Baldwin. It happened on the set of a movie that Baldwin is producing and starring in New Mexico. Authorities say Baldwin killed the cinematographer and wounded the movie's director yesterday when he fired a prop gun. It was supposed to be holding blanks while filming was taking place. Police are investigating and no charges have been filed. Stocks remain mixed on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow up 131 points, the Nasdaq down 59, the S&P trading 3 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You spend a third of your life in bed. That's why we make the most comfortable sheets in the very best way. I'm Scott Tannen. 8 years ago, my wife Missy and I founded Boll & Branch to create the new standard in bedding. We source pure organic cotton and put workers' rights first. Today, Boll & Branch makes the highest quality sheets in the entire industry. You'll feel the difference of our famous signature sheets. They're made from pure organic cotton and get softer with every single wash. Now's the perfect time to try Boll & Branch sheets, pillows, bath towels, and so much more. Each is made with super soft organic cotton by workers who are paid fairly and have come to feel like family. It's time to make the better choice and get the new standard in bedding. Visit bollandbranch.com today for free shipping and returns.
Experience a new standard of comfort at bollandbranch.com and take 15% off your first set of sheets with promo code GOLD. That's BOLL and branch.com. Promo code GOLD.
Somalia's president and the country's prime minister have reportedly agreed to end a feud that had threatened to derail long-delayed national elections.
Although there are still several hurdles to overcome, the apparent end of the rift between Somalia's president, known as Farmajo, and the prime minister, Mohamed Hussein Roble, could help speed up the country's long-delayed election process. That ought to be good news for the country's stability, which has been severely tested recently. The president's 4-year mandate expired in February, but political disputes meant elections were far behind schedule, so MPs controversially extended his term in office, a move that led to gun battles in the capital Mogadishu. If all goes to plan over the next few weeks, locally appointed representatives will choose the members of the country's lower house of parliament. MPs will then select a new president.
And that's the BBC's Will Ross. Russian President Putin hosting the new Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, a meeting at the Russian Black Sea resort of Sochi. Townhall.com. Federal regulators directing Apple, Amazon, PayPal, and other tech giants to reveal how their proprietary payment networks function.
Apple Pay, Google Pay, and other systems now dominate e-commerce and person-to-person payments with systems that are often hardwired into smart devices. Banks have tried to compete through services like Zelle, but they've struggled to keep up, lacking the integrated systems Apple and Google operate. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is seeking more transparency into the payment systems created by the big tech companies, as well as details about consumer protections. Director Rohit Chopra says tech companies are, quote, eagerly expanding their empires to gain greater control and insight into our spending habits. The CFPB has also raised potential antitrust concerns. I'm Ben Thomas.
Again, on Wall Street this hour, the Dow is up 109 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Wait for it. Happy Friday, everybody.
The bell. Do it again.
Happy Friday, everybody. There it is. All right. Gotta incentivize the bell.
It's like
I wonder if it's a simple turning of a screw or some WD-40 on that thing.
Yeah, probably a little WD-40, but
yeah,
it's an older bell. It's gotten a lot of abuse over the years.
Yeah.
We need more sound effects in the studio. You know what we need? You remember the? Okay, have you ever seen it? Sleigh Ride performed live. The song. Let's hear those sleigh bells. I know it's too early for Christmas music.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
So there's a part in the middle of that song where they go do 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 do, and they have this like slap thing that they use. It sounds like a whip crack.
Yeah.
We need one of those in the studio, and it's just like a long. I've used one. It's a long board with this little flap at the end. You just go, and it just makes a whip crack sound.
Okay.
So I'm just saying we need more like Foley in the studio.
What if I had an actual whip?
All right. I didn't know you were bringing that to the table, but all right. Mikey Whipwreck over here. Dang.
I got a spare.
It's not my pro whip. This is just my amateur. This is my practice whip. It's shorter, not as sharp at the end.
Yeah. It's kind of But anyway.
I just feel like in order to get like back to our old old radio roots. I feel like we should have like a Foley table.
Just hot pots and pans.
Yeah,
and
a little tiny
spoons.
door that's creaky that we could, you know. Yeah. Shoes in a sandbox, you know.
Yeah. Broken glass so we can.
One big aluminum foil thing so we can mimic thunder.
Yeah, some.
We could step your forecast up tenfold. Mike, do your forecast. Well, I got a 20% chance of rain.
I think you've been hanging out with our sales manager because he used to, for years. I think he said it to you too.
Oh yeah.
When we do the weather and everything, he was like, "Can you add sound?" I was like, "It's the weather."
Yeah. It's
not a theatrical production. Right. Although I think I've said this on the radio before. Years ago, 4 years ago, I went to the Outer Banks for vacation for a week, and I was listening to like there was like the classic rock station that was there in the Outer Banks that I would be listening to whenever I was in front of a radio, and the guy that did the weather there, he wouldn't do all the sound effects, but he would do it in like this Orson Welles like just dramatic voice, and he did, and it was clearly
a bit.
Yeah, because the way he was doing, he was like, and tonight the thunderstorms will flourish at 30%. And he would do the whole weather like that, and you're like, wow, that's pretty ominous. And he just did this, it will be sunny. And just the way it was like, the heat index will burn through your flesh. You're like, whoa.
Dang. All right, stepping up the game. Did you ever hear his... it was a read. I have to find the clip, but it was a read for, I think the commercial was for like peas.
Okay.
And he had to do a voiceover for this commercial. And he kept messing it up and the director kept messing it up. And it's just him going off the rails on the, it's a pretty famous piece of audio.
Okay.
But
I don't recall.
Yeah, I'll have to track it down. It's like one of the last things he did. He was there's that one, and then the other one is the wine commercial he did.
Okay.
And that's another one where he was clearly dipping into the product while he was filming this commercial. Because by like take 4, the line was supposed to be like, the fruits are the finest. And he started there like, and speed marker, and they hit the clack. He goes, no. he was sauced at this point. I got to track that. I got to find that. It's a great clip.
That sounds good. Hey, before we move forward, we got to thank the fine folks at McDonald's.
Yes.
Once again, they provided us delicious breakfast treats. I've been busy. I haven't had a chance to go nose through the bag yet. I need to go do that. I've been sipping on my iced tea and just living life, but doing good. But stop by any of your McDonald's here. They got your breakfast covered, and add green chili on it to get the ultimate
it's
covered breakfast experience. And then, of course, don't forget, download the app, exclusive deals through that app. And if you're looking for career opportunities, which are very good career opportunities with McDonald's and the Snowburger team, many of the Snowburger upper management are people that started at the ground level with McDonald's there. So, and you can do that too. Go on to mchire.com. Next thing you know, you could be big time in driving around and
That's right.
Teslas and all that stuff, and be a part of his team.
They make it easy to make your career come true.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. So log on, mchire.com today.
Yes.
It is 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take a. Oh, did you find it?
I did.
Okay, all right. Let's find. Let's do this.
Let me see if I can.
102, take 1. With overlap, action, please.
Just staring at the camera, doesn't know what to do.
Action, also, please.
Action.
Doesn't do anything? No, sorry, cut. You're rolling. 102, take 2.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
They're cutting him now.
Take 3.
Sorry, real quick.
Action,
Rubbing
please.
his eyes.
The French.
That's pretty much all you need to hear. But yeah, he was sauced.
Is he just a guy, or is that a famous guy?
That's Orson Welles.
Oh, is that Orson Welles?
Yes, that's Orson. That's like
Didn't
one of the
sound
Oh,
last things he
him.
ever did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's to put that into perspective.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was Orson Welles.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, who's that guy?
Yeah, who's that drunk idiot? Yeah, that's like one of the last things that he ever recorded.
Wow.
Sound effects.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, let's get us a Foley table, Amazon boy. A Foley table, or like Foley effects. Like Foley. Yeah, sound effects.
Foley, not Axel Foley, like.
Well, spelled the same.
Spelled the same, but different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna come in with like the Beverly Hills Cop collection.
Y'all got a Doppler machine in there?
Oh, Doppler machine. Does it make donuts? Makes Dopplers. This is Johnny Doppler. It is 8:13. I just kicked everybody out of the room. Well, they left on their own accord. 8:13, here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks fair for the weekend with high pressure over eastern New Mexico and fairly comfortable temperatures. We'll be in the mid-80s and sunny today and a little bit breezy by afternoon. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid-50s, and then we're in the upper 80s and a sunny day coming up for us tomorrow. Clear and down to 50 on Saturday night and then back to the low 80s, and it stays fair on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 51 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 48%. Winds currently out of the north at 6 miles per hour. The just monotonous, nice weather continues. Sunny skies today, high of 86. Northwest winds 5 to 10 for this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low of 55. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. For you Saturday, another awful, just normal day. Sunny skies, a high of 86. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 in the morning. Picking up a little bit for the afternoon, 15 to 20, but nothing we can't handle. Tomorrow night, mostly clear. Overnight low of 52. Southwest winds, 10 to 15, dropping down 5 to 10 after midnight. Sunday, sunny and 84. Nothing exciting there. West winds 5 to 10. Monday, we're going to have a day of, it's going to feel like hot. Sunny, high of 89. So maybe near 90 on Monday. And then we're back down into the low 80s and breezy Tuesday, back into low or upper 70s by Wednesday, Thursday of next week there. So, all right, 8:15, real quick. Zia Guns USA here in Roswell. They now are a full-line Tacticam dealer. These are the same Tacticams that you see on hunting shows worldwide. If you don't watch hunting shows, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But for the rest of you, there it is. And you're like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Also, they've got a new shipment of knives in stock, brands like Benchmade and Case. Also, they have on-hand cash, and they're using that cash to buy your guns. So if you've got a single firearm, a gun collection, or even an estate sale, they will make you an offer, and you walk out the door with that cold, hard cash. Don't forget, Zia Guns USA also carries the entire line of Black Rifle coffee. So if you want to try the new flavors and everything, check on down at Zia Guns. They got you covered. Also, they're their only authorized Dr. Squatch retailer in the region. That is not a doctor for Sasquatches. That is a soap company for men, predominantly selling online, and they have lots of great, unique, manly scents. But you can smell none of them online. So go on down to Zia Guns USA, smell them. Don't lick them. You could. I wouldn't recommend it, but do all that, and you can take it home today. Zia Guns USA, shop the locally owned Zia Guns USA, 1907 North Main. They are open every day except Saturdays. They're even open on Sundays. They are open on Sundays, but are closed tomorrow because they spend Saturdays with family, and you should too. Stop on by 1907 North Main here in Roswell. All right, 8:17, we're going to take a 3-minute break, and then Bill Williams, county manager, is going to join us, and we'll get all the good, the bad, the ugly of yesterday's commission meeting. Don't go away.
I've heard it said, speaking my mind is easy, speaking it tactfully, not so much. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Proverbs 15:15 says, a gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare. Sometimes my greatest accomplishment is keeping my mouth shut. There are times when we argue that it would be easy to lash out. So I have a choice to make. I can either feed the fire or quench it with my words.
Julie and I have learned there's going to be arguments, but we've learned to fight and argue, not to be right, but to get the situation right.
So the next time you're in an argument, try saying something kind from a genuine heart to bring peace in your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years, from in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical.
Name to remember. Family fun awaits you at Night of the Living Zoo, happening October 29th and 30th from 5 to 9 p.m. each day at the Spring River Zoo in Roswell. Bring out the whole family for trick-or-treating, fun games and activities, all part of a frightful, fun family night. Get your tickets now. Pre-purchase your tickets online at roswellconnect.com. Night of the Living Zoo, October 29th and 30th at the Spring River Zoo on East College in Roswell. Come and enjoy some family fun, if you dare.
There's never a bad time to break out a bag of La Poblanita party tostadas at home, the office, in the club, wherever. Parties happen with La Poblanita party tostadas, the perfect crunch, seasoned just right and ready to get the party started. It's the dippable chip that bites back, the chips that make bland salsas better. Grab a bag of La Poblanita party tostadas at your local grocery store across all of southeastern New Mexico and take the party up a notch with La Poblanita party tostadas. They're all that and a bag of chips.
As a business leader, you want what's best for your employees. You want them to be happy, take pride in their work, and have access to better health. That's where we come in. Health plans from True Health New Mexico offer members access to over 10,000 providers in facilities throughout New Mexico. Many prescription drugs have $0 copays, and many plans cover behavioral health 100%. Be true to your company and to your employees. Visit TrueHealthNewMexico.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A U.S. quarter has 119 grooves at its edge. A dime has one less groove. So by definition, that makes a dime less groovy. Here's Mike Winters.
It's science. Good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Chaves County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
So far, so good. It's early, though.
Is there plenty of time to change?
Yes. No, I expect it to be a great day.
Absolutely. Well, the weather's nice. Things are happening.
It's Friday. Everybody's in a great mood.
Yeah. Nothing to complain about today.
Right. It's great.
Yeah. So, good deal. And it sounds like you guys didn't have any real earth-shattering stuff happening yesterday.
No, we didn't have any earth-shattering events at the county commission meeting. We just
business as usual.
Took care of business and nothing real exciting.
Which is great.
It's absolutely great.
We need some boring months.
Just managing things the way they need to be managed is nice to have that once in a while.
Absolutely.
With no scary stuff.
Absolutely. Real quick before we talk about the meeting and everything, obviously last week yourself and the sheriff we were talking about the illegal dumping and things going on.
Right.
What kind of a week later, I know that's not much time to do it, but I mean, are you seeing people starting to get the message about this, or is it still just bad, or is it still getting where people aren't utilizing the proper places and everything?
Everything's cyclical, I guess. Sometimes it's worse and sometimes it's better. Right now, I think things are on a better level.
Good.
One of the things that the Chaves County Road Department has done, they're not quite finished with it, but one of our collection sites at Midway tends to be just overwhelmed with trash on the ground.
It's a hot spot.
And we accept part of the blame for the problems that are at the dump sites. It's not all people that just throw their trash down and could care less. There is some of that, absolutely.
Sure.
But, we have two compactors at each site. One compactor is open, one compactor is closed, so that when that one's full, the staff just comes and changes the electrical connection, and then you have a second one.
Okay.
Sometimes people don't realize that, and that's on us. I mean, we have two there, and people are kind of expecting two of them to be working.
Gotcha.
So, and then sometimes one will fail, or you have an electrical failure or something. That's probably a little more rare, but it does happen from time to time. But the problem is, once one person throws their trash on the ground, everyone else just assumes that it's not working or whatever,
and just follow suit.
Or I'm not going to move their trash to get to the door or whatever, and so they follow suit. But in Midway, which has been one of our most problematic sites, there's a lot of people from all around bring trash to there. It's usually a pretty big deal on every Monday morning for them to send a crew out there to clean everything up and get it back up and running.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've done at that site's the first, and we'll be doing it at the other sites, where there used to be two compactors, one operational, one not operational. There will now be two operational compactors, so you can put your trash in either one.
Gotcha.
And that's a change that we've decided we need to make.
Okay.
If it's there, it needs to be usable.
Gotcha.
And we're also going to change our signage. We have a huge sign there that says, you can do this, this, and this, but you cannot do this, 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 and this. It's a huge sign, and it's like a book. You'd have to stand there and look
It's
at
like,
it
let me
and
study.
read for 5 minutes. And it also faces it. It's not in a position where you can see it as you're parked at the compactors.
Mhm.
It's more as you're driving onto the site.
After the fact, almost.
So
yeah.
we're going to change a lot of signage and put smaller signs. Just one message on a sign that says, "No household garbage only."
Sure.
No dead animals.
Right.
No sofas. That kind of thing. But by rearranging the sites and reestablishing how we're doing them, for instance, Midway then will have 3 slots. 2 compactors be there all the time, but it gives us the opportunity, maybe quarterly or something, to take an open top out there and ask people, hang on to those big items, the sofas and stuff that some people throw on the side of the road, but also a lot of people at least bring them to the collection sites, but they won't fit in a compactor and shouldn't do that. So
Sure.
we're thinking, well, it would be a lot easier if quarterly or something. We don't know the exact timeline.
Throw them into a roll-off or something.
Yeah, we put an open top container there, and you can bring those bigger items and dump them in there. But for the other 3 or 4 months, just hang on to it, wait,
Sure.
and bring your household trash. And
Sure.
we're trying to make sure that
Kind of do like a spring cleanup event or something
Right.
to have it, or something along
Yeah.
those lines. Yeah.
Or maybe you get to be at a different site each, month.
Like the
maybe at
traveling
this site.
dumpster thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that everybody gets the benefit, and we're
Okay.
not overwhelmed by all of the compactor sites having an open top.
Sure.
At the same time. So anyway, we're working out details, but we're starting to actually see some of that come to fruition there at the Midway site.
Good deal.
By having, like I say, every compactor there will actually be operational. They got the concrete slab poured. They got the fence moved. They're working on the electrical, but I don't think they've quite got 100% done there,
Sure.
but
Well,
soon.
well, I
So
imagine-
that helps.
But they're probably dealing with the COVID world like everything else.
Right.
And so there's going to be delays in materials and things needed to complete
Right.
projects, just like everybody else is dealing with.
And we've had a staff member out there handing out flyers, letting everybody know these are the things that are acceptable. This is what's going on here. Just visiting with people and letting them know that,
Expand the education of it.
yeah, that we're taking care of it. And like with government, a lot of times things move slow. I mean, we have to go through certain
Everything's glacial.
procedures to buy things, and it's not just like making a phone call and I'll be there on Tuesday. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to make sure the money's there. We have to make sure we give everyone adequate opportunity to get the job. Can't
Sure.
just give it to your neighbor.
Exactly. Well, and that's, this is what we talk about when we talk about state politics and things like
Right.
that. You hear about these nepotism type things,
Right.
and this is to prevent those kind of
And
things.
this is local government.
Yeah.
Everybody that's here lives in this community, and
Yeah.
we want to all be able to hold our head up when we see you at the grocery store and be proud of where we work.
Absolutely.
And not hiding something. Whereas,
Yeah.
those bigger the organization or bigger the government is, it's easier for you to fall between the cracks. Here we answer to people, so we make sure we do things right.
Yeah, but the sooner the folks understand that government in general is glacial, it's just because of the transparency, because of the levels of things. Even the fastest government on the planet, if they're doing it right, is still going to be glacial.
Right.
And you just have to understand that. And it's for the benefit of everyone at the end of the day.
And I have so much respect for, in particular, our procurement officers. I mean, it's very black and white. A lot of jobs, you have some latitude to do what you want. Our procurement officer is Sandra Rodriguez. She has nowhere to go except it's either right or it's wrong. And she makes sure that we follow all the rules that are necessary. We have secondary checks and balances within our system. So finance will do one thing, but they cannot check their work. So maybe Sandra will check the work and make sure. And that way, people who are not related to both sides of an event aren't checking it to make sure it's right. And
not to mention, you have the same people looking over the same thing for errors time and time. You tend to get a little nose blind to it a little bit, if that makes sense.
That's right. But anyway, I really respect people that know all those rules and can quote that, the statutes that are required for, no, you have to purchase this way and you have to advertise this way, or up to this dollar amount you can do this. And it's just pretty amazing that they know so much about that. So
they're the dotters of the I's and crossers of the T's.
Yeah. and frankly, often they're not the most popular person because I want to do this. I want to get going. I want to get moving.
Well, they got to be
we
definite
have
and
to
finite
follow
with
those
people.
rules.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't have the luxury of, we can do this. No. It's this way or it's not happening.
Yeah. Or
and then to make you understand that, people like, well, gee, they're now working.
Right.
It's not about that. It's about they're working with you to tell you it's not going to fly unless you do this.
And let's find the most streamlined method to do it. There may be 2 or 3 ways to do it. But they're all going to be clearly what's acceptable and not deviate from that. And so we're very lucky that we have that ability here at Chaves County. So.
Yeah. Well, in theory, that's how all of our municipalities and government should be operating.
In theory.
In theory. All right. Well, yesterday the Chaves County Commission meeting met as they do the third Thursday of the month, which is always open to the public, and even the county's getting more high tech, so you can kind of watch the proceedings on their Facebook page as well, too. So if you can't be out at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, you can watch it online while you're at the office or whatever.
So that's a perfect segue into a couple of things I need to talk about. So yesterday, the local economic development office, Mike Espiritu, came and talked to us, told us about things that are developing around the county, jobs bringers that they've been working on getting here. And we talked about the Ascent project. And he also has a new company that's similar to Ascent that's looking hard at Roswell. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
But back to the Ascent thing. So one of our agenda items was permission to publish for a public hearing.
Okay.
In order to get the LEDA money, which is the local economic development money that is going through Chaves County, but going to the Ascent project at the airport, because they're building that to, it's a huge job provider in our community.
Absolutely,
and we've all been working really hard on that.
Well, any growth out at the airport's a good thing for all of us.
And like I say, the Economic Development Corporation, Roswell Chaves County Economic Development Corporation, has done a tremendous amount of work making sure that happens. Potentially is going to be about 350 jobs, or not potentially. It's going to get to that. It'll take a couple of years, but it starts out with 100 jobs that are good paying jobs.
Sure.
And that's part of the reason for the LEDA is they're not just entry level jobs at this. These are jobs that pay more. These are in the aviation industry, and
these are career type opportunities.
Yes, really good. And so the LEDA money comes through and gets passed through to the Ascent. In this case, it's going to be a lease abatement kind of thing. We don't give them the cash, but they say we've spent this much money in our building, so we are entitled to get
a break
a percentage of that back. Yeah,
makes sense.
Over a period of years,
happens
it doesn't
all
happen
the time
all the
in that world. Yeah.
Right? And like I say, the benefit to our community is that we get 350 jobs, and this money is coming from Santa Fe. So I mean, we've all worked really hard to make sure that state money is used to bring these jobs into Chaves County and Roswell. But the permission to publish, we have to have a public hearing. I have to pass an ordinance for this. And for an ordinance, you have to have a public hearing. And just like you said, people can watch online, be sure and come down. So I got permission to publish, which just means I have to advertise it in the newspaper prior to the event so everyone knows that there's a public hearing. But come
a legal
down,
notice.
Come down and listen to the hearing on that.
Absolutely.
Another thing that we're going to be doing next week, it's unusual, it happens from time to time, but we are having a joint meeting with the city council and the Chaves County Commission. And we're doing that on Tuesday at the airport at fire station number 4.
Okay.
I hope I don't get the fire station number wrong, but I'm 99% sure it's
number 4.
Fire station number 4. It's the one at the airport.
Yes.
So we're going to meet there. And the reason for it is we want to pass a resolution talking about how we're going to mutually work together. We want to really thank Counselor Jason Perry, who's worked very hard on this.
Yeah.
Parker Patterson, the city attorney, has worked really hard on this. Will
They've been
Cavan,
the liaisons between county and city.
right?
Yeah.
They've worked really hard on getting this resolution ready, and then, like I told them, we have to have our own resolution because our resolution number is different. We're not going to say anything different in it, but so now the resolution has two numbers.
But for clerical reasons, it's a different number or something here. Yeah.
But so our only purpose originally for going to that meeting was we were going to pass this resolution jointly, telling the state that we're all about anything that you can provide to assist the airport.
Gotcha.
Chaves County has been working on an infrastructure project, taking water and sewer to the southeast corner of the base. The city has been working on a lot of projects with the doghouse, and kudos to them. They got a large grant. I think it was almost $2.8 million from Ben Ray Lujan's office.
Yeah.
And that was a great thing. They did a great presentation and really got the message out and did a good job of obtaining that money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was strictly because of the presentation they did. It was wonderful. They did a
Yeah.
great job. But we're doing this, and then we were going to leave the meeting. The city has 2 or 3 other items they said that they're going to cover. But we decided that we also need to do a permission to publish, which is a very simple thing. I just asked them, hey, we need to publish for this public hearing. And so on Tuesday, we're going to pass the resolution, which is the main reason that we're all going to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the county breaks away from that, we're going to do one more business item, and that is a permission to publish. This is kind of convoluted. I'm trying to make sure I keep it right in my head. It's not convoluted. It's just has to be done a certain way.
It's meticulous.
And the permission to publish will be for a public hearing, which will happen on November the 9th. On November the 9th, we already have a commission meeting planned to canvass the election.
Okay.
So we want to add one more item on that, and that's a public hearing to discuss redistricting within, how it affects our county.
Absolutely.
And you have to have a public hearing for that. There's a very stringent timeline on the redistricting plans and having it all submitted to the state and how it's going to change depending on where population has moved in the last 10 years. It's all tied to the census.
Sure.
The numbers were supposed to be to us in like July, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just got the numbers at the very end of September.
Yeah, it's been all delayed.
And we have to have it completed by December 31st, which means we have to have a public hearing, and then we have to have a regular hearing where they make the decisions on what the final thing is. And then assuming that it's not contested and doesn't go to court or whatever, then it goes gets approved.
Yeah.
And then 30 days after approval, because again, it's an ordinance. It doesn't just happen right away.
Everything's glacial.
Then 30 days is when it takes effect. We have to have it done by December 31st. So you can see our timeline is very critical on this. So
they didn't give you much room to wiggle
so
on this one.
we want to invite everyone again on November the 9th, and the meeting will start at 9 o'clock in the mornings to canvass the election. But then immediately following that, we will have a public hearing about redistricting. So if anyone has any ideas about, well, I'd like to see the line go from 2nd and Union to Union and 19th, and I don't even know if that district is one of the ones that would be changed or not.
You're just making up some information here to
just
get
making it
people
up to
understand.
get the point. And so that's when you come in and tell us, I would like to see the line moved here, or I would like to see this area of this precinct changed so that it matches better. And it's a complicated process, but we need public input. We're required to have public input.
Yeah, but that public input's important because that gives them all the variables. Like if they make a decision, but don't, obviously the commission can't be on every single street and every single, you know what I mean?
Right.
So so people that live in that area know way better on that. So your input is very valuable. On that
and the idea too is to keep it fair.
Absolutely.
We don't want one area that there's no way one party can ever lose or one party could ever win in an area. So you try to keep the population based on the voters so that it's a fair thing.
And people may have seen in the news, statewide here when they're talking about district lines and things. And I think there's 3 different proposals they're looking at right now. And one of them is pretty off kilter that people are raising some flags about.
Congressional District 2, where the South Valley of Albuquerque then becomes part of our congressional district.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot more people there that have a whole lot different values than us rural agricultural community.
They don't represent us.
They don't represent us, but it was clearly, well, in my opinion, it's clearly gerrymandering where they're just trying to stack the
deck. Absolutely.
The deck.
And in this state, does that surprise anybody?
And
does not.
That's, I think, been taken off the table. I hope it's been taken off the table.
Good.
It needs to be taken off the table. You know, there were several options, and we felt like, well, this just makes a minor change to make up for the difference in population or where people have moved, and you know those things are necessary, and and we have to do those. But to change the entire makeup so that we no longer have a voice in this part of the state, which is kind of what that appeared to be.
Blatant tampering right there.
Right.
That's all that is.
And so that's why we have these meetings, public meetings, so that people can have the input. They can say, wait a minute, hold on, that's not what it should be. Or you guys haven't thought about moving the line to here because that would take care of all these other problems.
Yeah.
And people are smart and
I
we want to invite them. And
I ain't going to lie. Government operations, logic isn't always the number one priority there. I'm just telling you, because you scratch your head sometimes. I get it. Even the people in government are like, I don't know why we're doing that either. It just, that's what happened. That does happen from time to time. So please, this is that opportunity he's talking about. Get out there and share your constructive information there.
And of course, it goes right along with the canvassing of the vote, you know, because that's the reason they have redistricting. That's harder to say than I thought it was. That's the reason we do it is because we want to make sure elections are fair. So come out, find out who won the election, what the official results are, and why the official results, and if there was a write-in or if there was one disqualified. They tell you all that stuff during the canvassing. It's really kind of fascinating.
Yeah. So that'll be a busy meeting on the 9th, you said?
Yes, the 9th, November the 9th. And so come out. They'll go over the election results. They'll tally. You know, they sometimes have to open certain ones right there in front of the public. You know, there's a whole lot of procedure goes into that as well.
Absolutely.
And then right after that, then we'll go into the public hearing. So if anyone wants to discuss the redistricting, we will take that into advisement. We'll get that all ready to go for the November meeting, the regularly scheduled meeting, so that once it's passed, we have the 30 days necessary to get it in place before December 31st.
Absolutely.
So come on out.
Come on out. And then don't forget, early voting is underway now.
Yes.
All of that. Go to the clerk's office. I think the mall's now officially
The clerk's office, the mall.
Yeah.
I believe there's a precinct in Hagerman.
Yep.
I don't think the Dexter one is open till Election Day.
Yeah. And then of course, on Election Day, there's going to be like 12 different polling locations.
Yeah, they have a lot of different polling locations throughout the community.
County. Yeah. And Lake Arthur's got one, Hagerman, Dexter, and then there's several smattered north and south through Roswell.
I believe East Grand Plains School has one.
A lot of the same characters there. You might see one or two different ones, but for the most part, if you voted at a voting convenience center last time you voted, odds are pretty good that's going to be another location.
Or 5 years ago when you voted, odds are pretty good it's going to be the same. We have had a few minor changes to those, but generally we try to keep them the same so that people know where they're going. But sometimes, for whatever reason, a better place
Logistics
turns
happen,
up, or a
availability
place that's more
doesn't come
accessible to the public, or if something's being remodeled, which has happened to us before. We
Churches,
had to remove
schools,
that one.
They've got their own businesses and things to do too.
But it's real easy to find out where you need to go to vote. Just call the clerk's office; they'll let you know. And
don't forget, it's convenience center. So if you can vote anywhere in Chaves County, at any you don't have to vote where the one that's near your house. If you live here and work in Lake Arthur or vice versa, on your lunch break you can go hit the Lake Arthur one and vote, or vice versa. You know, it's anywhere in the county you can vote in this upcoming election here.
Right.
So, and then I know some people are going to have more important ballots than others, depending on where you live and your school districts and all that stuff. Unfortunately, this is the not as sexy, prominent election time than a presidential or something would be. But
this is not one of those fun ones where you get to drain the swamp. Or any, this is business.
Nevertheless, the school board and some of these other
it absolutely makes a difference.
Ordinances and things you're going to be voting on in this ballot. Which, if you go, call the clerk's office. I don't have it off the top of my head, but there's a website you can go. They'll be happy to tell you it.
Yes.
You can look up your voting information. You can see a sample ballot. You can even see your voting history in New Mexico. Like if every time you voted and who you voted for, as long as you're in New Mexico, if you come from another state, it won't have those. But but all your New Mexico votes, and it'll tell you
Wow.
your districts, who your representatives are, your all
I
of
didn't
that
know
stuff.
that. I'm going to go check it out.
It's,
That sounds really,
I wish
really
I-
informational.
If I dig around in my paperwork, it's here, but I'll go dig it up here in a break. And
Well, fortunately, I know the clerk, and I'll ask her, what is that? No,
yeah, it's on the brochures and
that's
everything else
really
there.
cool. No, I've never checked that out. That
Yeah.
sounds really good.
It'll tell you your districts, your voting history. It give you a copy of your sample. It's all the information you need to know about voting. It's got there for you. It's a very useful tool.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's great. Well, we had, I guess I better get on to this agenda real quick. We had our talk from Mike Espiritu from the Roswell Chaves County
EDC.
Economic Development Corporation. Like I say, we talked about a job fair that took place, not a job fair, a
hiring event,
hiring workshop that they put on last night. We had one of our people attend that to see ways that we can, or find ways that we can do a better job of hiring, filling positions. Talked about technical trades and the NCCR, and I didn't get what that acronym stands for, but in the Valley schools, they're going to do the NCCR technical trades. When a person graduates from one of those schools that has that, they can actually have certification upon graduation for different things, whether it's welding or or
So they're
mechanics or whatever. But it's
when
the
they're done, the
technical.
ticket's written, and
Right.
the world's their oyster at that point.
Right. And
Yeah.
and as we all know, this day and age, technical jobs are getting to be the,
If you're
the
not
good paying jobs.
if you're not working in the technical world right now, it's because you don't want to.
Right. Yeah, because you can absolutely get a job.
Yeah.
So, and then we also talked with the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. She came in, gave us a great talk. She was very proud that they got a new employee that has a copywriting degree, helping them to streamline their magazine.
Okay. Yeah.
Eddie Macias came in and helped them with their mural on the east side of the building. They're partnering with the Life in Sports. It's a new newspaper in our community. They've been working hard, as they always do, on so many different topics. I just try to write down the high points. I mean, I could have 3 pages worth of stuff that's done by the chamber. They really do a good job of reaching out, not only to the city of Roswell, but throughout the entire county. And find ways to make this a better place.
It is the Roswell Chamber, but
really thank them for that.
They could almost rename it the Chaves County Chamber, because they support and really all businesses, but they really look at their umbrella as Chaves County, not just Roswell.
And then our treasurer came in and she talked about a few things pertaining to the accounts that they collect for the county. And the takeaway from that was the property sale, that we generally have a property sale every year. The state comes in, they take properties that have not paid their taxes. They do all the research. They contact the people, give them every opportunity to pay the taxes. But they have to be delinquent for a significant time. And then they put them up for sale, usually just a small amount of properties in the county. They haven't done that for a couple of years because of COVID. And this year they came in, they did all the work, the legwork, got everything ready to go, or ready to have the sale, and then the state canceled it at the last minute. So we're not having another sale. But that was the takeaway for her. Then Georgiana Hunt, who is our what is her position? It's a grant writer.
Okay.
I don't know what her technical title is, but she writes the grants.
Unofficially, it keeps us out of trouble.
Right.
That's
Well,
her title.
she finds money for the county and fills out all the paperwork to help us to ask for it, to beg for it, whatever you want to call it. But she does a great job of that. And of course, she has other duties too. But she came in and she asked that we ratify, I think there were 9 different agreements. The first 6 were for aging and long-term services. 6 agreements totaled $701,395, and that was all for aging and long-term services throughout Chaves County.
Okay.
So the Joy Centers and those type of things, several parking lot redos, some vehicles they need to take senior citizens to events
and things. Yeah.
So that's really amazing that these other entities have worked with her and through the finance office at Chaves County and came up with $701,000.
Awesome.
$395 to assist
and every penny is
aging and
needed.
long term, and every penny is needed. And they work really hard. Monica at the Joy Centers, she is constantly trying to find ways they can get more money. They, of course, have to report and comply and all that stuff, and they get the information to Georgiana, who helps them get it in the system, and they usually do a very good job of coming up with money.
Sure,
for
they have to
those
get
things.
creative over there. There's no lie. They work magic on making more with less and doing it with the same government red tape that's going on.
Right.
That not only do they have to make less or more, but then they got to deal with the bureaucracy that is government and to make it happen. And it's hard enough to do that on your own in a private sector, but doing it when you got government red tape handicapping you a bit, it's even harder. So
government red tape's always a fun thing.
They're wizards over there. They really are.
So then the other three agreements that she brought before us were for a total of $1,150,000. And those were from New Mexico Department of Finance, those three agreements. And all of those were for projects that Chaves County has obtained legislative capital outlay for. So another $1.1 million for projects there at the county. So again, we're very proud that we've got that. And we're very thankful to our legislators that always keep us, in the forefront.
Fight the good
They have
fight.
a limited amount of money that they're allowed to help out different communities, and our legislators really do a good job helping us.
Sure.
So we thank them.
And let's face it, in the world they live in, too, the influence is kind of limited, too, on what they,
Right.
I mean, they're in the minority party right now, and has been forever.
Right.
And so every time for them to get anything done, it's an uphill battle.
Well, they fight tooth and nail for our communities.
Absolutely.
And give them a call, your senators, your state representatives, and tell them thanks for.
And see if you can talk to your friends in other counties up north and see if you can get them some help in their districts.
Yeah. Or send the money down here. Either way works. So. We also approved a lease for a motor grader. We, constantly have to have new equipment at the road yard, but we don't want to buy millions of dollars worth of equipment all at one time.
Sure.
So we space it out, and we've gone to where we lease equipment a lot more because the technology changes so fast.
Sure.
That oftentimes by the end of a purchase period,
it's obsolete
It's
already.
obsolete, and the computer's out, and so you have a problem. But we do have a lease with the purchase to buy on most of these items, and so at the end of the lease we can actually pick them up if that one turned out to be a really good machine and it still has a lot of life in it.
Sure.
There's a lot of variables.
The juice is worth the squeeze there. Yeah.
And so we always try to do those things. Again, that's the procurement department.
Sure.
They go through all this and make sure.
And it's done that way to give you guys options down the road.
Right.
It doesn't cement you in with either this lemon or this thing. If it turns out it's not what you needed, then you can get out of it pretty easy. But if it's something that, turns out to be a valuable thing that we can't live without, then we can buy this sucker, and it keeps your options open for a little longer.
And I thought I wrote the dollar amount down for the lease of a motor grader. I didn't write it down. I know that we get a substantial savings from what a contractor, whatever would, the government contracts that are in place through large companies. This happened to be a John Deere motor grader, 770, I believe is what we picked up this time. And we bought Cat in the past. We bought a Volvo loader a few months ago. But we get such a reduction off the price. It's really amazing in the first place. But we make that equipment last. The road department does a great job maintaining it. We've got a full shop there. They maintain everything.
Sure.
So if one ever comes up on an auction, that's probably where you want to buy it because it's been maintained better than than you could ever imagine.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of like when I was in the military, we work on aircrafts, and you want to talk about the maintenance records and the meticulousness of that stuff. Anytime someone breathes on that thing, it's annotated. So I don't think they're that stringent in the county, but it's probably not far from it.
No, and like you say, the military, they rebuild it from the ground up. When they do it, there's not a piece that's left that hasn't been looked at.
Exactly.
And we don't go that far.
But it's the same philosophy.
We do take good care of our equipment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something kind of interesting. We did 2 provider agreements for 2 ambulance services. AMR, which is our new ambulance service here in Roswell. We used to have Superior Ambulance, and now we have American Medical Response Ambulance. They are the new provider for Roswell Chaves County.
Gotcha.
We work together on this as a community project.
Sure.
So they're our new
it's
provider.
shared services.
And we also have Trans-Aero Medevac is now the air ambulance in Chaves County.
That's the helicopter folks.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so we have to have a provider agreement with them for indigent health care. We have our indigent health care that is administered by the county. So if they were to pick someone up in the ambulance, take them to the hospital, incur cost, and the person is indigent, can't pay it, we work those details out ahead of time. So, if it's an indigent person, bring that to us. You're a provider. We're going to cover it at whatever percentage we can cover it at, or at the Medicare rate or whatever it is. And I don't know those details because there's a whole lot of information that they do as well. And that's Jeff Ortega. If anybody knows Jeff, tell him you're doing a great job there. He knows so much about that. It's pretty amazing. Helps a lot of people out in our community. So we did those 2 agreements to make them providers for indigent health care.
Cement that deal.
But we also, American Medical Response has got one office, or whatever you want to call it, an ambulance station up on Country Club, I guess, behind the Zen.
Okay.
It used to be, it wasn't 3C Meats. Anyway, there used to be a meat packer there, and they've converted it to an ambulance place years ago.
About, yeah.
And then they have a second office, or whatever you want to call it, over kitty corner from the police station on Richardson.
Okay.
But they've determined that, especially during rush hour, if you want to call that in Roswell, it seems like all day long in Roswell on Main Street can be rush hour anymore.
Sure. Well, definitely lunchtime.
But it's very difficult to get south of McGaffey. If you happen to be north, and both of their stations are north of McGaffey, it's very difficult to get to the south side. Or if it's out in the county, down in the valley, and they need to respond, minutes are precious when someone needs you. And so they came to us and said, we need to find a place where we can have ambulances and staff positioned south of McGaffey Street so that we can, take care of the south end of town. And kudos to them for doing that and thinking of that. And it's an additional expense on their part.
Sure.
But they're more than happy to do it so that they can provide what they've contracted with the city and the county to do.
Good deal.
So they came to us, and we actually have a complex of buildings that are just south of the Chaves County Administration Center, 1600 Southeast Main, Suite E. We lease to them.
Awesome.
And they'll be able to have people there 24 hours a day with their ambulance so they can get to those areas further south or down the valley.
So better coverage now.
And so that was an interesting process working with them, and think that they're really going to be good for our community.
Good deal.
So,
well, we got a minute left before. Is there anything in that minute that we need to make sure we let folks know about?
The one thing I want to tell everybody about is buy your used courthouse windows. If you go to govdeals.com, you can find the iconic Chaves County Courthouse dome windows that are available. There's also some other windows that are on the roof side. If you buy a Chaves County window, you will get a certificate of authenticity on the county letterhead. It'll be embossed with the seal of Chaves County. You can, for your provenance. So you can tell your friends, hey, look, I've got something that people have been talking about. You can reminisce about the courthouse. We should have some additional windows in the future as they continue to change out windows. But we do want to offer that opportunity to people. We didn't want to just throw them away because so many people are interested in them.
And there's value to them.
And you can buy them for a small price. They're not in great shape. I mean, that's why we're replacing them, especially the dome windows. But they're historic. And like I said, they'll come with a letter saying that this is legit. This is the real deal. And
I think it would, if you don't want it for your personal home or none, I think it'd look great in doctor's offices or, your business offices. They've got like a, art displayed or something. That might be
in
great.
your shop, you might want something cool like that, or you might want to put a picture of the courthouse. But every postcard, brochure, and everything for 100 years has shown these iconic windows on the, so you can show, hey, I've got one. And there's about 12 of them available off the dome.
All right.
I'm not sure of that number. They're not in great shape, but they are good.
They're not
for wall.
functional as windows probably anymore.
But they're good wall hangers, and we have a few off the third floor and should have some more. And then as this progresses, they're going to change out the arched windows on the front and first and second floor. So
nice.
So there'll be more windows available. So
awesome.
Get your windows, govdeals.com.
Very good. And maybe they make great Christmas gifts. Actually, they could, depending on your recipient.
It really could.
Someone who's not into that thing may not appreciate it.
There may only be 6 of us in town that are really crazy enough to buy an old junk window, but I intend to try to get mine. So.
All right. Well, to those 6 people,
to the wives of those 6 people, please let this happen. You know, I know you're going to be like, that's ridiculous. Why you have that thing? But it's worth it. Trust me.
It is.
Well, thank you, Bill, as
Thank
always.
you.
We'll see you next time, okay?
Thanks.
It is 8:57. Quick break before news. Don't go away.
Spending money we don't have has become the American way of life. Oftentimes, we get sucked into the rush of buying the next big thing, only to be left with a stack of insurmountable debt. Did you know that 63% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $500 emergency? What else is interesting is self-storage units are now a $12 billion industry that barely existed 40 years ago. It seems that most everyone is looking for the newest phone, the cable provider with the most channels, and the television with the biggest screen. Needless to say, times have changed. Why are we so intent on keeping up with the Joneses? What does the Bible have to say about being a good steward? It's time we gain some perspective and learn to be content in any and every situation. Please join us as we try to do that at Country Club Road.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
It's time to stock up on beef. Do it the most affordable way by buying a whole or half beef from Runyon Cattle. A whole beef feeds a family of 4 for nearly a year. Buy your meat in bulk for about $6 a pound. Skip the store and skip the wait lines. Beef isn't something that you should have to wait on. Stock up on New Mexico homegrown grass-fed and grass-finished beef today by calling Lisa with Runyon Cattle at 760-5655. That's 760-5655. Delivered to your home freezer. The biggest sale in the history of southeastern New Mexico is back at Roswell Nissan.
King of cars.
With every vehicle on the lot slashed to liquidation pricing. Like a 2020 Versa slashed to under 18 grand. A 2014 Jeep Patriot slashed to under 13 grand. And a 2015 Sentra slashed to under 9 grand. Get free AirPods just for stopping by and enter to win one of 3 LED smart TVs, including a 58-inch 4K Ultra High-Def Smart TV to be given away October 23rd at 1 p.m. sharp.
King of cars.
On now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. U.S. officials issuing new warnings about China's ambitions in artificial intelligence and a range of advanced technologies. There are concerns it could eventually give Beijing a decisive military edge and possible control over the health care of Americans. Meanwhile, China is insisting there is no room for compromise or concessions over the thorny issue of Taiwan.
The statement follows a comment by President Biden that the U.S. is committed to defending the island if it's attacked. A foreign ministry spokesperson has reasserted China's longstanding claim that the island is its territory. China has recently upped its threat to bring Taiwan under its control by force if necessary, by flying warplanes near the island and rehearsing beach landings.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. Democrats growing increasingly uneasy as Election Day draws near in Virginia.
Polls have consistently shown Democrat Terry McAuliffe with the overwhelming support of black Virginians in the gubernatorial race. But his victory may hinge on whether this core part of his base shows up in strong numbers to vote. In an off-year election when turnout is generally low across most demographics, it's not yet clear whether black voters will cast enough ballots to put McAuliffe over the top in an exceedingly tight race against surprisingly strong Republican Glenn Youngkin. A hint of soft turnout among voters who make up Democrats' most consistent base is an ominous sign for the National Party ahead of next year's all-important midterm elections. Keith Peters, Washington.
An attorney says family member is hoping for more answers, possibly later today, from law enforcement regarding the cause of death of Brian Laundrie, person of interest in the death of his girlfriend, Gabby Petito. Watching Wall Street, stocks are mixed. Right now, the Dow is up 82 points, the NASDAQ down 67, the S&P unchanged. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The United States has killed Osama bin Laden.
Hours after that announcement, the White House leaked that it was SEAL Team 6 that carried out the operation. Al-Qaeda placed bounties on the heads of all Navy SEALs. Then, just 3 months later,
Extortion 1-7 requesting permission to take off.
The U.S. Army helicopter carrying many from SEAL Team 6 and others entered the Taggy Valley.
That's all flash. You see a flash? Anybody out there? We have a fallen angel. A fallen angel.
Roger.
Extortion 17, the provocative new film telling the story of the largest loss of life in U.S. Special Forces history, now playing on SalemNow.com. Questions quickly arise. Why did it take 17 minutes to fly a 10-minute mission? Was there a black box on board?
Every American should be taught about what happened in Extortion 17.
What really happened to SEAL Team 6 that dreadful night? Fallen Angel, Extortion 17, the story most Americans don't know. Watch exclusively at SalemNow.com.
Britain's Queen Elizabeth back at Windsor Castle after reports that she had spent a night at the hospital earlier in the week.
Buckingham Palace confirmed that the 95-year-old monarch went to the private King Edward VII Hospital in London for what they are calling preliminary investigations. The test took place after she cancelled a trip to Northern Ireland to celebrate 100 years since its creation. The palace said the Queen reluctantly took doctors' advice to rest for a few days. She returned to her Windsor Castle home the following day and was understood to be back at her desk by afternoon, undertaking light duties. Karen Chamas, London.
Falling scaffolding broke off one of the teeth atop the Kremlin wall earlier today, prompting Russian authorities to seal off Red Square. A gust of wind brought down the scaffolding, which is being used to repair a section of the Kremlin wall near Soviet founder Vladimir Lenin's tomb on Red Square. News and analysis, townhall.com. The bottom line of a couple of major airlines really took off in the third quarter.
American and Southwest Airlines are reporting profits thanks to large amounts of government pandemic relief. The airlines expecting strong traffic over the holidays if cases of COVID-19 keep declining. The highly contagious Delta variant cut into revenue over the past couple of months. Still, American posted a $169 million profit after collecting nearly $1 billion in taxpayer money to cover most of its payroll costs. And Southwest earned $446 million after getting $763 million in federal aid. John Scott reporting.
Russian President Putin voicing hope that new Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett will continue in the footsteps of his predecessor, maintaining close and trusting relations with Russia. Putin and Bennett now holding their first meeting, taking place at the Russian Black Sea resort of Sochi. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to our number 3.
Plus Embriano.
Is that Orson Welles I hear? To this day, I still will not watch the Orson Welles Nostradamus thing because I was so freaked out by it as a kid.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Like, that freaked me out as a kid. Like for a hot minute there when I watched it, I thought the world was going to end in like 1988 or something. When whatever they say it is in that documentary.
Yeah.
In whatever quatrain that was, or
I'm gonna say yeah. It wasn't 1988. I think it was like 1986. It wasn't 4 because that's 2 on the nose.
6 maybe.
86, I think maybe.
Yeah. Whatever it was.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Needless to say, I don't think that documentary is available, since how they called their shot, and here we are, 2021.
Yo, shoot your shot, bro. I will say this. Now, I've had somebody actually tell me that They think that the whole 2012 Mayan calendar thing wasn't necessarily the end of the world, but the end of one consciousness and the start of another.
Was that what we're experiencing right now?
I don't know, man. I'd argue that things have been kind of, banana pants crazy since 2012. I mean, granted, they've been banana pants crazy for a while, but things really got turned up to 11 back then.
Well, I feel like now it's 11.
Well, yeah, now we're at 12 or 13, but it got originally turned up to 11 back in 2012. It's a lot of numbers.
I don't know. Maybe. I'll ponder it. I'll think about this weekend and give you an answer on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I don't have to think about? How delicious McDonald's is. I just know it's there.
Oh, yeah.
And Sean he did this on purpose, eating a hash brown in front of me. Knowing full well I can be able to leave to eat my own hash brown. But there is a hash brown waiting on me.
It's got like a little Cracker Jack prize.
What?
Yeah, comes with its own iodized salt packet.
I didn't know that.
I'm sure they don't, but yeah, and fancy, it's like a Cracker Jack. Candy-coated potatoes, peanuts, and a prize.
Do you have a favorite Cracker Jack toy?
I think anything that actually, like, you actually set up that was like a thing.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of those, because there was always crap.
Oh, of course.
But,
except.
Yeah.
Now,
the cards.
Now,
the baseball cards were pretty cool.
My favorite was the tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, I would get Cracker Jacks, and they would buy me the boxes.
Right.
And then, I ain't gonna lie. If I pulled out the prize and it wasn't a tattoo, I didn't want it.
Really? So you were all about the tats.
I was. I wanted those little tattoos. Yeah, I loved those.
You were probably super into fruit stripe gum back in the day.
It was not my favorite, but it was popular. Sure.
Just because they always came with the tattoos.
Well, it was, and plus they had a cool zebra wrapping.
Yeah, and like 5 full seconds of flavor.
If Bubblicious or Bubble Yum wasn't around, then yeah, we get the zebra.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to go Bubblicious every time.
Yeah. I mean, I was or Hubba Bubba.
Hubba Bubba. You know what? But Bazooka Joe was bringing his A game back in the day.
But the Cadillac of gum was Big League Chew.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the one because you never felt cooler than when you're
big old Dippin' Shaw.
Yeah. And it's like, it's bubble gum. It don't taste like garbage like Daddy does.
Right.
You know, it was good, but you still feel cool.
It's a real gateway product. I'm surprised it's actually stood the test of time.
And then after that, we go to the ice cream man and buy candy cigarettes.
Kids back in the day, our candy sticks, they used to you'd blow on them and they would smoke. Yeah. Those were the coolest. Yeah. We were so cool back then.
But then lessons came out and said, hey, maybe we should encourage kids to do this.
By the way, when we have more time, I did watch the Dave Chappelle stand-up special, The Closer, last evening.
I too have seen it.
And it was real good. Really, really well done. I think if we have some more time, we should discuss
that. Might be a whole segment. On another day, because you're right. I will say this. I got a funny feeling the trans community's upset at him because he spoke truth and they didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll leave it at right now.
So, yeah. It's just, I get a feeling that they turned it off halfway through and said, well, heard everything I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Did you watch it till the end?
People don't handle it when you give them the harsh reality of what they're doing. And they'll fight you tooth and nail. And everything that they do after what he just said looks just like that. So that's all. But yeah, I would love to delve into that and have an honest, good discussion about it. And because that's going to be a conversation where people are going to misconstrue and mishear things that are said and done. Right. And I want to devote some time to that. So today ain't it.
Also, and again, when we have more time, they confirmed it was laundry.
Yeah, I heard that yesterday, that the remains found were in fact, which as soon as I heard there was human remains, I was kind of like, yeah, that's probably him.
Unless he struck again, it's got to be him.
Yeah. I guess they dental records. That's how they identified him, was dental records. So, I have thoughts on that too, but that's another time for another day.
I'm just hitting you with the news at a glance.
I have other thoughts on that too, but another time for another day. One thing I do want to make sure is that to thank McDonald's for sponsoring our show each and every Friday. They provide us with delicious breakfast treats. We do thank them very much. They hook us up every Friday. Swing on by. It's McDonald's. You always got your favorites. Everyone has a favorite at McDonald's. I don't care who you are or where you come from. There is a favorite item.
that you get at McDonald's, go get it today.
Oh, yeah.
And enjoy it. Don't forget the app. Don't forget that you too can save big with exclusive apps and deals and all that kind of stuff. So come on down here to.
Do you ever think people forget that we're doing a radio show in here sometimes?
You get a little loud there. You got a party going on.
Yeah. Inside voices, people. Inside voices.
Yeah, I don't know if we can hear it on mic. I can hear it. But, I don't know if I'm hearing it through my headphones or just the ambiance.
Yeah, it could just be
mixer.
both.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're hearing it.
But big thank you to McDonald's.
Y'all picking up on this blight?
Stop on by. Don't forget, they are always hiring, especially right now, especially for the new South Main one when it's completed here very soon.
Yes, sir.
mchire.com is the web address for you to learn more and apply and become a part of the Snowburger team today.
Indeed. It's coming close.
It is 13 minutes after 9. Let us play some weather, shall we? I think we shall.
Let's.
Then I got texts, so I'm going to read those. You get the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks fair for the weekend with high pressure over eastern New Mexico and fairly comfortable temperatures. We'll be in the mid-80s and sunny today and a little bit breezy by afternoon. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid-50s, and then we're in the upper 80s and a sunny day coming up for us tomorrow. Clear and down to 50 on Saturday night and then back to the low 80s, and it stays fair on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 51 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at, 48%. Winds currently out of the north at 5 miles per hour. Let's see. For today, sunny skies on a high of 86. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 55 and south winds 5 to 10. Saturday, sunny and a high of 86 with south winds 5 to 10. Later increasing 15 to 20 tomorrow afternoon. Saturday night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 52 and southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Those temps will drop down 5 to 10 after midnight tomorrow night. Sunday, sunny with a high of 84, west winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then Monday, when you head back to work and school, warmer, near 90, actually. Sunny of 89 officially for the high on Monday. And then after Monday, cooling back down, low 80s on Tuesday, breezier. Dropping down to the upper 70s by probably Wednesday, Thursday of next week there. So we'll see how it all goes. All right, it is 15 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to have gubernatorial candidate Greg Zanetti, Republican, seeking the Republican bid for governor, going to join us here on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
The biggest sale in the history of southeastern New Mexico is back at Roswell Nissan. King of cars. With every vehicle on the lot slashed to liquidation pricing. Like a 2020 Versa slashed to under 18 grand. A 2014 Jeep Patriot slashed to under 13 grand. And a 2015 Sentra slashed to under 9 grand. Get free AirPods just for stopping by and enter to win one of 3 LED smart TVs, including a 58-inch 4K Ultra High-Def Smart TV to be given away October 23rd at 1 p.m. sharp. King of cars. On now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Loveless Healthcare Center is proud to offer pediatric services and is now taking new patients. Loveless offers a full spectrum of pediatric services, including complete well child checkups, immunization, sports physicals, and treatment of illnesses such as the common cold. Know the ones you love most will receive the best pediatric care at Loveless Healthcare Center. To schedule an appointment, call 575-625-3222.
Spending money we don't have has become the American way of life. Oftentimes, we get sucked into the rush of buying the next big thing, only to be left with a stack of insurmountable debt. Did you know that 63% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $500 emergency? What else is interesting is self-storage units are now a $12 billion industry that barely existed 40 years ago. It seems that most everyone is looking for the newest phone, the cable provider with the most channels, and the television with the biggest screen. Needless to say, times have changed. Why are we so intent on keeping up with the Joneses? What does the Bible have to say about being a good steward? It's time we gain some perspective and learn to be content in any and every situation. Please join us as we try to do that at Country Club Road.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Good morning, honey. Hey, I have to pick up the kids from school this afternoon. Can you call...
A home invasion can happen anytime, even when you're at home. Protect your home and the ones you love with whole home security from Zenith Security. The security experts at Zenith Security can monitor your whole home 24/7. So they're ready whether you're there or not. Call Zenith Security Services, LLC at 626-3521. That's 626-3521 and get whole home security with Zenith Security Services, LLC.
When you get home this evening, take a look at your furniture. If you're like most people, you never intended to keep it this long. But there it is, the same old furniture. So hurry to Glenn's Furniture and give your home a brand new look. Right now at Glenn's, everything in the store is specially priced, including stylish power reclining sofas and love seats, smart and practical dinettes and dining tables, and the latest sleep technology for your bedroom. Delivery is always free at Glenn's Furniture at Union and Alameda, helping people change for the better since 1953.
Christmas came early at Richland Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. A huge inventory has finally arrived at the dealership. Every type of Ram truck you've been waiting for. 2500s, 3500s, even some 4500s. Been looking for a new Dodge Charger or Challenger? They've got them at Richland. And don't go far looking for a new Jeep, Wranglers, Cherokees, Gladiators, even some work vans. It's like Christmas came early. But hurry, these will go fast. Richland on Southeast Main in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The world's oldest chewing gum dates back to at least 5,000 years. After chewing it, they stuck it at the bottom of their desk. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this time, we have Republican candidate for the governor of New Mexico, Greg Zanetti, back with us. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Mike. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Well, we appreciate you spending some time with us, and you've been spending quite a bit of time in the southeast New Mexico area this last few days here, just kind of,
Mike, I love this part of the state. Well, this is my 5th trip to Roswell.
Yeah.
No, 6th trip.
Wow.
And let's see, Carlsbad twice, Artesia twice, Hobbs twice, Clovis again tonight, and that'll be my 3rd trip to Clovis.
Nice.
No, this part of the state is America. You know what I mean.
Good news is his Jiffy Lube guy is very happy because he's got to do a lot more oil changes right now because he's driving all over the state.
Jiffy Lube guy, it's true. Keith up in Albuquerque. That's funny.
Getting a lot of work right now. Oh, yeah. I guess, obviously we talked to you before, but kind of just for the, just give a little bit of background, kind of give folks just a kind of an idea of your background and who you are.
Thanks, Mike. I was raised in Albuquerque. I went to Valley High School. From Valley to West Point.
Yeah.
I graduated from there in 1980, served on active duty. The Army paid for my master's degree in business from Boston University. I came back to Albuquerque and started a business. I started managing money. But Mike, the Army said to me, hey, Zanetti, you owe us some time for the master's degree.
They kind of want payment for that. They tend to do that.
They said, if you join the Guard or the Reserves, 2 years, 4 years, I forget, we'll call it square. So I joined the Guard.
Sure.
So during the week, I built a business. I chaired the Republican Party in Bernalillo County twice. I was active with Right to Life. I headed term limits. I headed Right to Work, kind of the conservative guy around town.
Sure.
Meanwhile, I was also on KOB radio for 30 years and KOB TV for 10.
Gotcha.
So, kind of people knew me.
Sure.
Meanwhile, then on the weekends, I put on my uniform. All right, well, I made rank. Mike, by 2005, I was General Zanetti.
Wow.
And in command of the brigade. And then in 2007, we got deployed to Guantanamo Bay.
So you spent time there in Gitmo.
I was the commanding general.
Yeah.
So Joint Task Force Gitmo was soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marine, Coast Guard. Joint. That's kind of what Joint Task Force means. And so I started out as deputy commander. The commander got ill, so I ended up taking over the place.
Sure.
I can't tell you how much I learned about politics at Gitmo. This was during the time when President Bush was transitioning over to President Obama.
Gotcha. So it was kind of hot in the headlines at that time.
Oh, yeah. President Obama was going to shut us down on the first day and sign the executive order. Well, all right. I mean, send us home. Fine with us.
Sure.
Well, actually, that you mentioned it. I'll just tell you this story. It was the first time I had seen what I call leadership by decree. We knew he was going to shut it down, or we thought so. So I called up to the Department of Detainee Affairs and said, all right, we're going to shut it down. Who do we coordinate with? No one had been assigned. Of course, we had the Air Force would be responsible for moving these knuckleheads. They had no idea what was going on. The State Department had no idea what was going on. What had happened was the leader had walked into the room, made a pronouncement, and turned around and walked out. Can you imagine running your radio station like this?
Yeah.
Where you said, oh, we're going to do this, and this,
Sure.
and you walk out.
No logistics or plan to execute it, just
timetables, nothing.
Make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's spring forward to August of this year. What did we just see President Biden do?
Kind of the same thing.
Kind of. Yes. We will leave Afghanistan on August 31st. Well, wait, who's coming out first? What are you going to do with the equipment? How are we going to shut it down?
Sure.
All the things that should have been done didn't happen. Now, Gitmo, it didn't matter much. I mean, the place stayed open, got it.
Sure.
But in Afghanistan, how many thousands are going to die as a result of these pronouncements?
Sure. Well, and you can attest to this much more, and I've been saying this since it happened, is you don't understand that what he did went against the very fabric of that is the military. That's the one linchpin that keeps the military cohesive. That knowledge that we're in it no matter what. We don't leave people behind. We make sure we do bad stuff. We got to get in bad stuff sometimes. The thing is, we're going to be with you through that whole thing, and that's not what happened here. Right. And that goes against the very fabric. That is so disabling to our military that you don't realize the impact that alone has. Not to mention the scores of thousands of civilians and everything that we left out to dry here. That thing's bad 10 times. That whole event.
My people are so angry, and now they're just trying to sweep it under the rug. And we still have Americans over there that we've left behind. And you're right; it goes against every fiber in our bodies. And anyway, but by the way, how does MLG govern? Our governor here,
well,
decrees, right?
Yeah,
pronouncements. Restaurants will be open at 25%. Well, why 25? Why not 24?
Yeah.
Why not 20? Where does it come from?
Sure. Where's the logic behind this?
Right. And so what happens is when you have leadership by decree, either two things happen. Either nothing happens or a bunch of people down below start to fill the power vacuum, and then it's convoluted and disorganized and everybody's head spins. So, I'm getting off track. But anyway, if you're looking for a governor who understands complex bureaucracies and the political relationship between those bureaucracies and the people and how it can either work for the people or against the people, Mike, I'd ask you to look at the Zanetti for Governor campaign. So here's the controversial part about me, and your audience ought to know this. When I got back from Gitmo, Mike, I didn't have a job. I had to sell my business for the deployment.
Okay.
You can't take care of clients from Cuba.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah. So I got a phone call from a high school friend, another Valley Viking. And he had become Bill Gates' money manager.
Okay.
The guy.
Okay.
This was 2009.
That's a lot of money to manage.
Oh, yeah. And he said, hey, Zanetti, we want you to come up here to Seattle and run some assets for Bill.
Okay.
Well, I thought he was a philanthropist. So we moved up to Seattle. And I'll just tell your audience this. I'm not a fan of Mr. Gates. Our values do not align, and I'm not in agreement with really anything he does. With that said, Mike, I learned so much about money. What I thought I knew after 20 years in the business in Albuquerque, when I saw how billions moved, hundreds of billions moved, oh my gosh, this is how it really works. This is how the state of New Mexico gets taken advantage of. This is how our permanent funds get taken advantage of. If you are looking for a governor who really understands money and you think we're going to have financial issues in the future based on how much money was misspent during this, the COVID mess, I'm not even going to call it a pandemic. And you think we ought to have someone who understands that part of it to protect New Mexicans financially, I'd ask you to look at the Zanetti for Governor campaign.
Well, I want to ask this, because I think this kind of goes into the area where I think our real issues are here when we talk. Because obviously we live in a society now. We look at the things nationally here, and you got the one percenters, and we talk about the Wall Street movements and the things that are going on here. And I think most of the people that have issues are almost at some point not understanding who the real problem is here. And in theory, how it should work is we all work hard and those opportunities come to you, you work, and that's, you can go from someone who has nothing to someone that's got a substantial, this country is still that place to do that. But what's going on is we've got folks that, your Bill Gates and things like that they're using that money for influence, and they're changing our political landscape, our lifestyles through their money. Bezos is doing the same thing right now.
Right.
And so most of us are like, well, how the heck does that even happen?
Right.
I think through this, you're getting a little. You got to peel back the curtain. It's like, this is how the rich keep getting richer, and this is how the people trying to scrape things together, why it's not working, and we all want to blame the guy. To be honest, the same person who's in the same boat, they're just a little higher up on the scale than you. We're all being victimized here by these other things up top here. I mean,
way to go, Mike.
You know what I mean?
Right, you see it.
Yeah.
I could show you charts of the wealth disparity and how out of whack this is getting, and COVID was the perfect example of how this manifested. What happened? Oh, we shut down the little guys, but Walmart gets to stay open?
Sure.
Well, what? All right. All the wealth is getting sucked up. I don't even call it capitalism. I'm not sure this is a term, but crony capitalism.
Right.
All right. Who are the pals? And then the politicians work hand in glove with these guys because the money pours into the campaigns.
Sure.
And meanwhile, who gets hurt? All the folks out there. Then you layer in a governor, our governor, who thinks that economic development consists of casinos, weed, and personal injury attorneys. And what we have is a bunch of printed money right now masking poverty that is occurring underneath. And you and I both know this money printing is going to end badly.
Sure.
And when it does, Mike, it's going to spill into the streets. It's already starting. I mean, look what's happening on the shelves. Look at the rising crime.
Absolutely.
Look at the rising civil unrest, the social unrest, the uneasiness we all feel because financially we know there's a problem. Then add in a border that's wide open where we've got the criminals and the gangs and all this child trafficking, which is really sick.
Sure.
And, what they do to women. And our governor thinks this is all okay. You're going to need a general who understands money to clean this mess up is kind of my view, which is why I'm running. But yes, you've nailed it. So how do we respond? What will we then do? Because Mike, you got to offer people hope.
Sure.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
I'm sorry.
you.
Go ahead. Go for it. Because I want to ask something, but it's probably not quite at that point yet. So go ahead and finish your thought. I'm sorry.
All right. How do we beat this? The wealthy. This is financial advisor Greg talking to you now. The wealthy don't think in terms of money. They think in terms of wealth. And Mike, there are foundationally two kinds of wealth in the world. There's one more, but we'll just stay in the horizontal here for a minute. There's wealth from the earth, oil, gas, timber, copper, gold, silver, oranges and cotton, the stuff God made.
Right.
I call it low tech. Cotton is cotton, lead is lead, doesn't change very much.
But to get to the high tech, you got to have it.
That's right. Everything in this room started there.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, you're correct. The other kind of wealth is high tech. Wealth from human hands. Taking aluminum and making an airplane. Well, that's wealth to me. So is my car, so is my cell phone and my computer. All right. Well, that's a moving target. 150 years ago, high tech was what, railroads? Good on that generation.
Yeah.
And then the progression, cars and radios and TVs and microwave ovens. Now we're here.
Sure.
Mike, what's the next stuff that's coming? Micromachinery, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, quantum computing. Where was that stuff born? New Mexico.
Yeah.
And the wealth from the earth part?
Sure.
Are we a wealthy state in wealth from the earth?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got 4 of the 17 rare earth elements. We have oil, we have gas, we have timber, and we have all this potential, and we can't bring it
financially.
together.
We should be one of the richest states in the country.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we have a tax structure that punishes businesses, and we have a legal structure where businesses are afraid to move often for fear of being sued and being out of business the next day. Well, these are the two things that Governor Bush did, 30, 40 years ago in Texas. And Texas wasn't doing all that hot. Well, he got elected. He changed the tax code so it rewarded enterprise and opportunity and wealth creation. And he had tort reform. And everybody goes, tort reform, Greg, you can't campaign on it. Yeah, I understand. Most people glaze over. But we do have to change the legal structure where you can't live in terror of an attorney. And just look at the billboards up and down New Mexico. It's all about who are we going to sue next.
Sure.
Well, it doesn't work. Are we going to have an opportunity to change? Actually, I think yes.
Sure.
I think we've agreed that the money printing is going to end badly. When it does, there's your opportunity to offer something different because promises get broken. Okay, so now it's General Zanetti talking to you just for a minute. Mike, you never win a war by attacking an enemy's weaknesses. They'll let you attack weaknesses all day long. You got to go after their strength. We call it the center of gravity. All right. Well, you got to identify it right. And sometimes it's tough. I mean, the center of gravity, in the Bible was often the king. If the king died, everybody, ran away. It might be the capital. It could be Civil War. It was the army of Robert E. Lee. Once Lee lost, all the air went out of the South.
Sure.
In the Cold War, it was actually a currency. We took out the ruble and won without firing a
just
shot.
Outspent them.
Well, we did. That's a great story, by the way. I'll tell you how Thatcher and Reagan did it with oil and how it was this part of the state and Texas that actually saved America.
I know we're getting, but
yeah.
Reading the tea leaves, are we getting, in your opinion, is China doing to us now what we did to Russia during the Cold War?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I see this writing on the wall, but I don't know if people realize we're in a Cold War now and we're losing. and I think China's beating our butt in it.
Right. Meanwhile, our politicians are debating, are there 86 genders or 88 genders?
Yeah.
And if you don't give me my correct pronoun, I'm going to, out you on social media. There's some huge things going on here. And so, well, let's lay one out. We're kind of off track.
Yeah, I know. I do that.
Let's swing back to Afghanistan.
Sure.
Mike, what do you know about something called the petrodollar?
Very little.
All right. The dollar used to be backed by gold.
Okay.
In 1971, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard, but he wasn't stupid. He knew something had to back the dollar. Kissinger, remember Henry Kissinger? He was dispatched to Saudi Arabia with a proposal. And it went like this. We want you to trade oil in dollars and dollars only. Do not accept Deutschmarks or British pounds or Japanese yen, just dollars. If you do that, we will defend the kingdom. It's kind of a protection racket. And look, you guys are lousy at it. We've got a strong Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. We'll do it for you. Okay. By the way, we just found out 5 years ago, Kissinger also said to them, if you don't take the deal, we may take your oil. It was total hardball. Saudis said, we don't care how we get paid. We're in. Well, now basically petroleum backed the dollar. If you were French and you wanted a barrel of energy, shoot, you had to turn in your French francs, get U.S. dollars, then you got your oil.
Okay.
This became known as the petrodollar deal. It's not a conspiracy. It's not woo-woo. Everybody's known it.
Sure.
All right, let's spring forward 50 years. What just happened in Afghanistan? A pretty humiliating retreat and bungled badly and all the stuff that we already discussed. Mike, I'm going to make you Saudi Arabia. And ask your listeners to picture a map with Saudi Arabia in the middle. Go to the east. Afghanistan has fallen. Iran's not with us. Iraq's not with us. Start coming over the north. What, Pakistan and Turkey? They're not with us. Come down the other side. Syria and Lebanon. Lebanon's basically Hezbollah. They're not with us. And then come underneath Saudi Arabia, and you got Yemen who's firing missiles into Saudi Arabia. Well, if you're the Saudis, you're saying, wait, this petrodollar deal is predicated on you defending us. We're surrounded.
Yeah.
So what did the Saudis do? On August 24th, they signed a mutual defense pact with Russia. Wait a minute. I thought we were supposed to do that.
Sure.
How did we respond? Well, during the week of 9/11, Biden throws out all you guys were complicit in 9/11. And now what's happening? Oh, and by the way, Biden's asking him to open their oil spigots, and they're telling him to pound sand. Well, we shut all ours.
I know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So then now we've come to find out we are removing our Patriot missile batteries from the Arabian Peninsula.
Wow.
All right.
They replace them with the Russian version, I guess?
Yeah. So what's happening here? The petrodollar deal is disintegrating right before our very eyes.
Sure.
All right. So what does this mean? Well, the world has been needing dollars to buy its energy for decades. Well, that kept a constant demand for dollars. Well, as that demand falls for dollars and supply of dollars is soaring as we print them by the trillions, and we want to do another $5 trillion out of this administration for all the new Green Deal stuff. Well, what happens? If supply soars while demand drops, what happens to the value of your currency? What are you seeing out there right now? Your currency's falling and prices are rising. And we're focused on all of these little petty, revenge, lust for power things. We need to get, so how does New Mexico get through this? All right, like we agreed, we've got wealth from the earth. We've got wealth from human hands. What we need to do is put together a structure where government says we're encouraging all of this at all levels. And you know what industry has done it the best, which is the template? The energy business here. Think what they've done. Oil's pretty low tech. It's been around 1 billion years or whatever. Right. There it is.
People were lighting their rooms with it for many, many years before we thought to put it in cars.
Right. And now here we are. I mean, you go out to these fracking fields. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're going down 2 miles.
Yeah.
And now they're going horizontally 1 mile. I mean, imagine the technology to do that and to bring oil out. What a stunning achievement.
Sure.
In the combination of both. You know where we could do it next? Water. I believe New Mexico should be the water state. And I know people are saying, well, we're going to have a drought. I mean, Mike, we are the Saudi Arabia of brackish water. Steve Runnels years ago did a study that said we had 15 billion acre feet of brackish water. Now that may be high, but even if it were, let's say, 1/10 of that, that's water for 500 years for New Mexico, even at 1/10. Anyway.
And that's all useful in the oil and gas industry.
Oh my gosh,
water.
yes.
Yeah.
And here's the good news. If you look at what's happening over in Israel, they don't have any water either. How they have been able to desalinate water, and the technology has leapt ahead, and the costs have dropped like crazy. Well, meanwhile, the cost of fresh water, especially you have to move it, 50, 100 miles, water's heavy. It's expensive to move.
Sure.
That cost is rising. Everybody out there getting a water bill knows it. Well, the lines haven't crossed yet, but we're getting there. What if New Mexico said, we got ahead of this, and he said, look, we think that we might be in this arid cycle for a while. We are going to commit this many, imagine if we had committed the COVID dollars to water. We're going to bring it up. We're going to clean it. San Antonio's got 2 plants right now. One's doing 30 million gallons a day. The other's doing 18 million gallons a day. And they want to take the 30 million one up to 42 million. Mike, could we do that here in Roswell?
Yeah.
And bring something low-tech water, put it together with high-tech, the hydrology. And do we have brilliant hydrologists in the state?
Sure.
Yes. Could you do the same thing up in Las Vegas, New Mexico? Could you do the same thing in Clovis for the dairy guys? And they need water. Watch what happens here. Now, and here's what happens with brackish water. It doesn't fall into the compacts. We don't have to share it with Texas.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't have water rights.
Excellent.
Right.
So no fighting over that water.
No. But we need to start thinking like this.
Sure.
And so now what happens is instead of Santa Fe taking money from this part of the state and then
wasting
it and then yelling at you all the time.
Yeah.
What if we get cooperative and say, first, thank you.
Sure.
And next, what can we do to help you? What can we bring to you to help? Because in order to desalinate the water, we need energy. Well, we have a lot of energy. And, you've talked to people. And by the way, it doesn't all have to be oil and gas. I'm for the wind. I'm for the solar thing.
Bring it all to the party.
Well, yeah. And by the way, have you heard about small modular nuclear reactors?
I have a little. I mean, I don't have a vast knowledge, but I know that pretty much one of those could solve all of our energy problems around town here. But because of the word nuke,
I know
people get scared. And it's like, to be honest, as far as risk factors, it's probably 10 times safer than any other form of way to power right now. But because of the stigma behind it and a little bit of knowledge is very scary on that one. And unfortunately, a lot of people have a little bit of knowledge on it.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. It's a nuclear reactor about the size of a McDonald's.
Yeah.
It'll power 60,000 homes. And we have this amazing geologic wonder down in Carlsbad, those salt pits, the salt mines.
Yeah.
Where you can store the nuclear waste. And everybody says it's going to take 10,000 years for it to. No, it doesn't. It takes about 200 years for it to be manageable again.
Sure.
That's still a long time. But Carlsbad is saying, yeah, we'll handle this. And I think the technology is going to advance there on the nuclear waste.
Sure.
So imagine us as the energy state and the water state. And now watch what happens with agriculture.
Sure. But to be honest, how much output could something about the size of what we're talking about here, I mean, if this thing's that small, how much waste does it? I mean,
Not much.
That's what I'm saying. It's like technology, computers get smaller, the nukes are getting smaller too. You know, it's the same deal. And they can do less with more with that. So the storage problem shouldn't even be a problem because it's minuscule amounts of this item we're talking about that we need to stick underground.
Well, that's my view.
Yeah.
And so you just look at these advances that are coming.
Yeah.
And you think, we need to stop doing what we're doing. Like, we're still chasing Google.
Mm-hmm.
We're chasing Amazon. We're chasing Facebook. Those are all old technologies.
Yeah.
Google started in 95. The stuff we talked about that was born here, the quantum computing, nanotech, micromachinery. I mean, imagine if we could keep the nerds here.
Sure. Yeah.
And we always talk about keeping the kids, and we ought to offer them plumbing and electric and HVAC. I totally get it.
Sure.
Yes, I'm all for the vocational stuff.
Because we need all of that.
But I want to keep the smart. They're just smart in a different way. I want to keep the techies here too.
Yeah.
And so now what happens is you get kind of this synergy thing going of, you guys aren't going to believe this, but where it's happening is in New Mexico.
Sure. Los Alamos is the most advanced place on the planet, probably.
Right.
And it's in our backyard.
Right. And DARPA and the labs and actually New Mexico State and New Mexico Tech, amazing things go on there. And all of it doesn't have to be centered in Albuquerque, for crying out loud, or Santa Fe or Las Cruces. And I'm all for that. But the rest of the state,
sure,
there's no geographical limit on this stuff. In
Yeah.
fact, a lot of it should be, particularly with the water, should be in the rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
And watch the state start to come together again instead of this us versus you and this kind of thing. But we have way too much top down.
Sure.
Where did we just see the perfect example of top down just blowing up on us? Well, with the mask mandates.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got a public education department that's out of control.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't used to have a PED. That was a Richardson invention.
Okay.
Well, all right, for all the years previous, local school boards handled the local community for the local parents and the local school kids. Well,
So is that something as governor you'd get rid of PED? Or
I would love
you...
to.
Okay.
Now legally I can't.
Okay.
But what I could do is declaw it.
Gotcha. Take the
authorities
bite
away.
out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be able to go to Floyd, New Mexico and remove a duly elected school board.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Well, and the sad part is they have no recourse. I mean, have you heard anything since they disappeared from Floyd?
No.
You know what they're doing? Not doing Floyd business. Someone else is doing it right now.
Right.
And
And it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they just promulgated 129 pages of new rules and regulations, and most of it revolves around CRT, the critical race theory stuff. And I was telling you, it's really bad stuff to be dividing kids at kindergarten and telling you you're only going to be known by your race.
Sure.
What's going on here?
Sure.
Can the governor stop that kind of stuff? Yes, yes, yes.
Well, let's get real experts in to talk about these things. Not people that are self-proclaimed experts. Let's get people that actually study this and say, are we teaching the right things or do we need to reassess it? But just because on a whim we think people need this, let's do that.
Right.
That's what happens when you let mob mentality rule the government.
Right.
And that's what you got going on right now. We can't have that.
No, we have to decentralize power.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be pushing power back down to the local communities. So let's take the mask mandates again. Let's just say Chavez County, Lee County, and Eddy County, they all say we are not going to have mask mandates for the kids. What if the governor said, we will support your decision. We will give you any and all information as soon as we get it. What resources do you need that we could help you implement what you've decided to do?
Sure.
But let's go the other way. Bernalillo County, Sandoval, and Taos County, just made them up, say all our kids are going to wear masks. Right? The governor's got to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we support your decision. What can we do to help you? We'll give you the information. And now what'll happen? Chavez and Eddy and Lee are kind of looking up there at Bernalillo, Sandoval, and how's it working?
Yeah.
They're doing the same back.
Sure.
And now people will adjust.
Sure.
And
to be
they'll
honest,
hate on each other.
Maybe it'll force the other to look at the other way. Maybe they come down here and they're saying, no, the herd immunity is working. Maybe the mask things, or vice versa. They're saying, you know what? The masks are making an impact. We should probably do that ourselves. But either way, you're allowing people to feel their own way through it and get what's right for them.
Right.
And then if it's not working right, we'll adjust on the fly. Unfortunately, the government, the New Mexico government's been doing that since day one, but they're not adjusting. They're just saying, this is how we're going to do it, deal with it. And that's the problem. There isn't that, hey, let's trial and error. Let's, this is new territory, therefore do as I say. No, it's new territory. Let's all figure it out together. That's what should have been happened. And that's not what happened.
And that's my total view of this. Instead of these pronouncements and decrees, we're on decentralization and how can we help you?
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of one of the main thing I learned, as commanding at Gitmo.
Yeah.
Is everybody say, what was it like having all those people work for you? It's like, man, you don't get it.
Yeah.
That they didn't work for me.
Sure.
I work for them.
Sure.
And that kind of thinking, when it percolates down through a chain of command, where everybody isn't looking up for the next job or the next promotion or whatever, but how am I going to take care of that sergeant, that private, that young lieutenant? How can we make them better to do their jobs?
Sure.
They will stun you with their creativity, with their ingenuity, with their hard work, and watch what happens. Can we make this switch in New Mexico? See, I believe we can. Will it happen as if everything is the same today as it will be next year? We're all kind of comfortable. And so, no, but I think we're about to go through, I call it the shift. It's already happening.
Yeah.
This inflation thing's not going to stop. And what Biden is doing with the supply chains and blaming everybody else, I've never seen more incompetence at the top.
It's impressive, actually.
Yeah. I've never put it that way.
It's so bad, it's impressive.
Sometimes I think it's too stupid to be stupid. I mean, is this a plan? And what's going on?
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed how bad this is.
And then we got a governor doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, what are we doing today? And
sure.
Anyway,
we're running short on time.
Sorry,
but
I
want
talk too much.
but I want to make sure we talk, because this is something. The reality of the world is the war chests get the attention and the money and everything, and right now you're in that side of things, trying to get your name out there and get. Let's face it, the money it takes to take on the big money that's going on here. So where's your plan there? Because that's the part that it sounds like you got the great direction we're going to take it, but how do you get yourself to that level? And that's where obviously a lot of help and support so you do it, but how do you get your name as the one where the people are throwing you the money so we can combat what we're talking about here? Because you can't even get to the table unless you got the money to get there.
No, and you're right.
Yeah.
We were second in the fundraising, and we didn't have previous money. And most people out there don't know this. If you've run for office before and the lobbyists have given you a bunch of money, you can transfer that money from one race to another race. Well, I don't have that.
You don't have the race to transfer from.
But if you look at what we raised on our own,
sure,
actually we would have been in first place.
Gotcha.
So, up in Bernalillo County, I'm pretty well known.
Gotcha.
I mean, all those years.
So you got some good support there.
Of course. And people have known me for many years, and my positives over negatives are like 4-1. Like, I can go into any community in this state and call a National Guard friend.
Gotcha.
And say, Sergeant Armijo, Captain Gonzalez.
Pull them general. There are perks to being a general. It's good to be the general. I as an airman, I know it's good to be the general sometimes.
But we were also friends.
Sure.
It's hard to describe, but we were friends.
Yeah, you make connections. You make well, it's military, and and if you've never been in the military, there's just something like, as soon as even if you have zero in common.
Right.
There's still a connection, and you can work together because you just kind of know the cut of the person's jib because they signed on the dotted line at some point. You know what I mean?
We never talked about Republican, Democrat, Hispanic, Anglo, and I mean, you're right. You're in uniform.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That kind of formed my thinking. I don't think like this at all.
Sure.
And so, how do you do it? I think it's shows like this, and you hope that people out there say,
sure,
this guy's different.
Right.
Yeah, I want to support him. And by the way, I didn't mention the third kind of wealth. It's spiritual wealth, that connection up. And I'm telling you, we could do everything right in the horizontal, but if we don't get right with God,
sure,
we're going to have, none of this will matter. And so I know I'm not running for high priest, but please know that we've got to have a change of heart.
Christian values are influenced by every decision you make.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll be on my knees every morning and every night praying for the state of New Mexico.
Sure.
And unapologetically. So anyway, you just hope that the message resonates and people come and say, hey, we're with you.
Sure.
And that's it.
So let's do the nuts and bolts here. Folks are listening and saying, you know what, I want to learn more about Greg Zanetti. I'd like to contribute. Give
You're
them
a
the
nice guy.
give them the tools to get the information and money to you.
You would go to Zanetti. It's Z as in zebra, A, N as in November, ETTI, for governor. Just spell it all out. ZanettiForGovernor.com. My Facebook page is up. You can learn all about me and what I stand for.
And of course, for this first run around, to get to vote for Greg, you got to be a registered Republican for the primary. So, if you're like, hey, I want to vote for this guy, make sure you're a Republican. There's a very easy way to do that.
Anyway, you were very kind to me this morning, so thank you for having me.
Anytime. We appreciate you spending time and giving us great information. That's at the end of the day, I just want to give people an opportunity to hear what you have to say and let them figure out what they like and don't like. That's my job is done at that point, the way I see it. And, just give, I always have my thoughts and opinions on things, but I certainly don't want some of that to influence because I know people don't think like I do and they shouldn't. And, and I don't want them to. I want them to think their own way, but sure, I'll give you my advice and you can throw it out the window or you can ride with it. I don't care, but I want to give people that opportunity. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll get to hopefully see you down more time. And obviously, assuming you go on and win this governor thing, open forum, love to have you come and talk with us. And if you come down once as governor, that would be one more time than the current governor has come and seen me since she's been governor.
Mike, I've heard this all over the state. The Navajo Nation people are saying that she hasn't been back. People in Espanola say she hasn't been back. It's an odd thing. I think you have to really like people and love New Mexicans.
Well, never mind. I have things to say, but I'll just keep them to myself right now.
Anyway, don't give up hope. There are a lot of people who want change, and I hope they turn to Zanetti for governor.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. And
thanks, my friend.
We'll see you next time.
All right. God bless you.
All right. It is 9:54. Let's do a quick news update and sports update and pay some bills before we go. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Sorello. $20 million in grants will be distributed through the New Mexico Fire Protection Grant Fund, and several Chavez and Eddy County departments will benefit. Chavez County will get $434,000 of that money going to Berindo Fire for new breathing equipment and Dexter Fire for a new water tanker truck. Moreover, the Happy Valley Fire Department in Eddy County will get $400,000 for a facility improvement. Loving will get $89,000 for a new fill station, and Queen will get $300,000 for a new fire truck. Xcel Energy is investing $1.1 million in electric distribution upgrades in central Artesia to serve additional growth in power needs and a speed restoration in the event of outages, improvements that will sustain economic growth for many years. The upgrades involve replacing wire on more than 2 miles of existing lines with a higher gauge wire that enables the lines to move more electricity. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The importance of a strong America is critical to every man, woman, and child, not only in this country, but around the world. Because we are the shining city on a hill. We are the light in what is a very brutal, very dark, in many places, very evil world. There's a lot of evil that goes on in the world. You don't believe me? Go back to the last century. About 100 million human souls killed. Communism, Mao, China, Stalin, the former Soviet Union, the killing fields in Cambodia, Nazism, fascism, Imperial Japan. You get the point? Evil exists all around the globe. The force that has pushed back evil more than any other one force is us, the United States of America.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey, I've got good news today for parents that want to homeschool their children. Look, by now you've already heard about the Acellus learning system. It's now in use by 6,700 schools all over the country. And this year with the pandemic, Acellus, they've become the go-to solution for schooling students at home. Now, the good news today is more and more school districts, they are stepping in to pick up the cost of providing high-quality Acellus lessons to students studying at home. The program is called Cyber School, and the students study at home, and the local school district picks up the cost of the tuition. Now, check to see if your district is participating in cyberschool.com. Now, this is an opportunity to have Acellus best homeschool solution for your kids at no cost to you, the parents. That's cyberschool.com. Now, Acellus really works as a homeschool solution. By the way, students are able to participate in their district's sports and social activities. It's a real game changer that people have been looking for. Cyberschool.com. That's CYBRschool.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks fair for the weekend with high pressure over eastern New Mexico and fairly comfortable temperatures. We'll be in the mid-80s and sunny today and a little bit breezy by afternoon. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid-50s, and then we're in the upper 80s and a sunny day coming up for us tomorrow. Clear and down to 50 on Saturday night and then back to the low 80s, and it stays fair on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. The football slate of games started early last night. We needed to spread those officials out a little bit more, and I heard that's the reason. Roswell took on Alamogordo, and it was no problem for the Coyotes, whipping up on the Tigers 48-17. Roswell's now 2-0 in district. It was 28-7 at the end of the first quarter. Game over. Goddard playing at Artesia tonight. This will be a big one. Goddard beat Alamogordo last week, 1-0 in district. Artesia narrowly lost to Roswell. Meanwhile, tonight you've also got NMMI at home against Hope Christian from Albuquerque. This should be a good one. Hope last week beat Dexter 17-15. Dexter will be at Tucumcari tonight. Hagerman, after suffering a tough overtime loss to Eunice last week, at home against Jowl. Six-man playoffs. Gateway Christian at home against Elida. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street trading near record highs, although the Nasdaq is struggling as tech stocks take a hit. Overall, the market seems to be setting aside worries about inflation and the supply chain. Japan adopting a new energy policy promoting nuclear and renewables.
The new basic energy plan calls for drastically bolstering renewable energy use and reducing fossil fuel consumption over the next decade. It's unknown if the nuclear energy targets can be achieved. Japan announced in April it'll reduce its emissions by 46% from 2013 levels, up from an earlier target of 26% to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050.
Correspondent Jeremy House. No lack of enthusiasm among investors anxious to get in on the ground floor of former President Trump's new